Tazaryach.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy.
The mics are on so they can. Oh, can I get them headphones?
Yes, my lord.
Yes, me lord. Oh, I need to get serious. I need to be serious. I need to stay serious. Did you just fuck the camera up? Yes, you did. You want to put that under?
It's too late.
Wow. I probably have to cut. Yeah, I can hear that fan. I probably have to cut that fan off.
Ooh wee, check. You see something here? Check. Turn this up right here. Check.
Check 1 2 1 2. I can hear
Check.
myself, so it must be good, right?
Yep.
Can y'all hear us? Okay, give us a 1 if y'all can hear us.
Good to go. Oh, you know what? It's a lock.
What? What's that?
That's very important.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is very necessary to our operation.
Yes, it is. Extremely necessary, actually. Hey, you should have juice now. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. You cut the camera cut off.
No, it's back.
Oh. Hey man, welcome to another edition of Cross the Line Radio. This is a Tuesday special edition with your host, Captains Tazaryach. Kataza's on the ones and twos. You know, he's like the silent assassin. I'll do all the talking. He'll do all the feeding, like loading up in the clip, shoot off. There might be a pause moment. So we appreciate y'all joining us, man. I believe the Killstream event, the gentleman, Killstream, the guy comes on. His name is Ralph. He's the one that runs the Killstream. Today's debate, I believe, will be against some Zionist Syrian so-called Jew. So I don't know. We look at everything as a battle. Matter of fact, let me correct myself before I get that phone call. Hold on, bear with me 1 second, y'all. I just need to update my Facebook post. But there's no set topic, so to speak, tonight. There wasn't nothing that I did do debate. No, I wasn't supposed to do debate. Let me edit that post. Battle. So okay, updated. And so he'll be coming on at hold on 1 second. I need to click this one. Alright, that's a little better. That's a little better. So tonight it'll be against I think he's a Syrian Zionist. No, don't do that.
No, not tonight.
No, not tonight. That was kind of funny. He's a Syrian Zionist, so-called Jew. That'll be live tonight. We'll be cross-streaming, Now, also, I believe this is also on Black Watch Radio as well. So you can catch this on Cross the Line Radio and Black Watch. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you have not thumbed up the video, make sure you thumb up the video. Also, oh, yeah. Shout out to my man, Madabar. I got the IHBK Brotherhood shirt on, provided by Madabar. Madabar, if you got a link on, man, you need to start putting some links on so I can promote your stuff. You know what I mean? Because I think that's important that we support all Israelite business. A lot of Israelite business, if I could, for the Israelites that have their business, my only advice to you is I want y'all to start going all the way out with how you make and handle your products. What I mean by that is, I notice a lot of times when I come up with names for the oils or butters that we sell, most of the names y'all come up with usually be biblical, which ain't nothing wrong with that, of course. But you want to be able to make a supply something that supports outside as well. So that's why some of my names will be like Give 'em Some, and then I'll have a name like Stronghold. I'll have a name like Barack. I have a name like The Truth. I have a name like Yapah. So you want to actually, you want to push your business to make it as big as possible. There's nothing wrong with that. And you want to go into it. One of the things you don't want to do is look for a quick sale, so to speak, meaning you're always going to get support for your business, but you want to get turnaround, repetitive, consistent, loyal support. So I would just advise you to go full tilt with it. So, and I was saying that like Madabar, he makes some badass shirts, just like a lot of brothers make badass shirts. The brother down there in Florida, what's the brother's name in Florida? With the shirts. Tazaryach makes some bad shirts. The brothers out in Cali make some good shirts. They make some good shirts in the Midwest. Tazaryach Allah, makes excellent shirts and other products with the jackets and stuff like that. So just go full. And then you got the sisters that, make their products, have their businesses. I believe Yami has some. Ruby, her Hebrew name. I don't say her whole Hebrew name, so I hope she don't get mad at me for saying Ruby instead. But Ruby, Soccer Wars Rib, they sell products. I believe Kaya sells products. So you want to go full tilt with it, and just do heavy with the promotion so that your business can be successful.
I'm gonna tell you something too, right? Like that, what Captain Soccer War and his rib got going on over there, that gad dust. I use that on everything. That's like gadite adobo.
Okay. Ralph just sent me the link. I'm gonna forward it over to you. For the kill stream. Yeah, I'm gonna send it over across the line now. And then while I got y'all, before we do start the debate live, I got y'all help with the naming of my oils. So I have 3. These 5 oils I counted today. These 5 oils put me at 50. I got to do it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ah, there it is.
It put me at 50. I almost said 50. If anybody ever seen Along Came Polly?
Yeah,
50.
Right.
So these represent my 50 cents. So with these, I've created 50 different variations of Fourth Dimension. So for the women, I have Entice for women and Bahama Breeze for women. For the men, I have Prestige. I also have Entice for men as well. And then I have Alpha. If you're an Alpha, you definitely want to cop that. And I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. Currently, I have a sale. So these 5 brand new butters and oils. Shout out to Mika, one of the baddest moderators out there. She put the link for 20% off. So you can get 20% off of all 5, whether you get oils or whether you get butters. Kevin Collins asked what this debate is about. This battle is a open discussion, which I'm pretty sure will more than likely lead into who is the real Israelite. I believe that's more than likely where it's going to go. Him being a Syro-Phoenician Zionist, which I don't even know what that is. Or he might not be a Zionist. I could be saying he's a Zionist and he might not be a Zionist. So I don't know.
He's a Zionist.
Oh, he is a Zionist. Okay. So what is a Zionist? Can you break down what a Zionist is, Tazaryach?
Zionist is basically that they believe that the state of Israel as we know it today, that was established in the late 1940s by the Balfour Declaration, is Israel itself, and it has a right to be a state, and they deserve to take back the kingdom.
Let me get my Arthur Koestler book together now, and my Michael Bradley. Where'd I put the chosen? You see chosen people in the coffers?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, let me grab that.
Oh yeah, when he starts playing that sympathy shit.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Oh,
hey,
yes.
What's going on?
How you doing, Ralph?
Pretty good, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute. I think the last one you had, I forget the guy's name that we had on.
Ramsey Paul, I believe.
Ramsey.
Ramsey?
Yeah, Ramsey.
Oh, you know what? I was thinking Ramsey was the guy that said he was Jewish, but he was really American.
No, that was the Halsey cost.
That was Halsey, right? That was the Halsey cost.
Yes.
Oh, poor Halsey.
Yeah, Paul. Has he been back since then?
And was that Hall of Fame?
He did come back one other time.
Oh, okay.
But,
did we make the Hall of Fame yet? That's what I
he was a
wanted.
little gunshot. I haven't. I was talking to Gator about that.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have to do some Hall of Fame inductions.
Yeah, man. We gotta get him. This is like
maybe
my
we'll do a whole
4th or 5th.
class, like they do with the real Hall of Fame, and have.
Yeah. Have a whole class as long as I'm at the top.
Ralph. I want you to know you're terrible, bro. Like, I watched that show when you were like, you called her Syrian girl the whole show.
Yeah, the whole show y'all called her Syrian girl. Syrian girl.
All right.
Good. All right, go ahead, Syrian girl.
Go ahead, Syrian girl.
Syrian girl, talk.
Well, that's her own name, I thought.
And you know what's funny? She was answering to it, so it's not like, it wasn't
yeah,
something
that's her name.
Oh,
that's like one of her, online names or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That was
Syrian
hilarious.
Girl.
Though.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
you
was
guys
funny.
thought I was just.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
So he's got the link. I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix up some of the tech. I'll be back in here in a minute.
Okay.
And so I don't know when he'll be here, but should be soon as well. So.
Okay, no problem.
All right, man. I'll be right back.
All right, no sweat. All right. So y'all heard that was Ralph from Killstream, doing a sound check, making sure we was in there. So he's gathering up the other guy for us to sit down. You would break it down to Zionists, and you was telling me this page 17 will kill the whole compassion thing, because a lot of people don't know that part of history.
They don't, and like, I wish that I'm telling you, man, I'm still upset that Nick Cannon dropped the ball when he sat down there, because all they did was bring up their oppression and what they believe, how they were destroyed, when they had a direct hand in all of our oppression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially that they owned all those insurance companies and so on and so forth, and that gives you the history from 1492.
Well, that'll be one of the things I read, and you saying that with Nick Cannon, I'm gonna call Nick Cannon, Sidnet, and all of them the comb your hair moments, like, or the comb your hair syndrome. You know how they call, you've heard of the term Stockholm syndrome, I'm sure.
Right.
And so I'm gonna call these comb your hair. Now, I didn't come up with this myself. This is from General Hyman, the baddest war general to ever exist, in my opinion. And so, in talking with him, I was talking to him about the vocab debate, right? And vocab, Sidnetta, Nick Cannon, all going to go in hand, and I'll explain what I mean when I say that. So vocab Malone is trying to get this debate about the boot kiss, which I've told Sidnetta I'm going to agree to do the debate about the boot kiss, and I want it to be in person. And so people, I don't know if people have seen the interview Sidnetta recently did with vocab Malone, and it reminded me of what Kadazai said with Nick Cannon, where he allowed that so-called Jew to spew all his propaganda of his oppression and never actually called him out on it. Well, vocab pretty much did the same exact thing. Like, vocab was able to get on there, and he liked to call us one Westers. He blatantly lied on ISUPK, which I'll strategically wait before I say that. And then the whole time, if y'all ever see Sinetta's channel, when it's a brother on that channel, Kadazai, and that brother makes a mistake, or that brother says something that Sinetta clearly doesn't agree with, Sinetta goes for the jugular. Like, he goes for the jugular. It's no holds barred. He goes all the way in. He doesn't change. He doesn't deter. What I noticed with vocab, there was something vocab said. I believe the Sakari cats caught it. They caught where vocab said, dirty, like black people, or black people are dirty. Something like that he said on some interview. When he was bringing up he was talking about lamentation. He said, black people are dirty, or dirty black people. I forget the wording of it, actually. And so, none of them asked him about it, because vocab edited that. This is what I also learned. I also learned your live stream, you can trim out pieces of your live stream but still leave it up. You know how normally we would privatize it, edit it, and then re-upload it? You can actually edit parts of it out, so that way you don't lose that views on there.
Oh, okay. So
he edited that part where he said black dirty people or dirty or dirty black people, however you want to word it. He edited that part out. And when none of them act now, everybody's calling him a racist for saying that. And so when Sinetta asked him about it, Vocab gave some wiggle room out of it, and Sinetta combed his hair. And the reason why I say Sinetta combed his hair, now the comb your hair syndrome comes from when that white girl, that white detective cop, killed that brother in Houston. Remember when she killed the cop, Botham John? When Botham John got killed by that female officer, the female cop, that white female cop, and she got found guilty. I believe she got found guilty. Did she get found guilty?
She did, and that was when the judge hugged her.
And not only did the judge hug her, but the court clerk came in and combed her hair. And combed her hair because to see our oppressor get punished is not something that black people can actually handle. They can't really handle that. That's why Vocab wants to debate well, I can't say that's why he wants it, but that's why Sinetta didn't challenge him. And I asked Sinetta, so when I'm speaking to Sinetta and I'm telling him that I will accept the boot kiss battle, I asked Sinetta, I said, Sinetta, why was you so nice to Vocab when you was interviewing Vocab? And Sinetta says, well, I gotta be nice to him because I got him. So while I got him, I gotta keep him right there, and if I go in on him, he's gonna run away. And with that, and right there, Sinetta doesn't realize the hatred that he has for black people and the love that he has for this oppressor. And he's going to say Tazaryach is crazy for saying that. He's going to say Tazaryach, I don't hate black people, I love black people. But if that was me, or Zion Lex, or Garfield, or Unk, or anybody else, or I won't even name Garfield, I'll take them out of the equation because he don't really go at them unless they beefing. But if that was any Israelite that he had on their channel, he'd be on their neck to no end, whether they came back or not. He won't comb our hair. He brings up their homosexuality to no end. Am I lying, Tazaryach?
I mean, I can't tell you how many times it comes up. Or if somebody turns around and says something, you know what I'm saying, he'll never call them out on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't do it with Polite with the tranny. He doesn't do it with Bobby Hemmett and the gatekeepers. He doesn't do it with Khalil Amani. Doesn't do it with Shaka. You understand? He protects every single one of them unless you're against him. I did see him go at somebody saying that he looked like a Mo. You know what I'm saying? But that's only because that was his enemy.
But he should, like, and here's why I think Vocab runs from me. Because when I see Vocab, I seen a battle on the street where Vocab is with them Sakari cats again. And as I see them, they're like trying to have this cordial dialogue on the street. That's what they're trying to have, a cordial dialogue. To me, if we're going to battle, let's battle. Vocab likes to cry baby in the sense that he likes to say they like to talk about you personally. They like to do this. They like to do that. Now, I can't speak for nobody else. But I do know in my interactions with this Vocab alone, I have never made any personal attacks on him. I've only attacked the garbage that he spews. So one of the things that he spews, Divine NRG, yeah, Polite and the tranny, you might not be able to find this video, but Polite was in the video, and there's a tranny twerking on his car. Now, he gonna tell you he let his boy drive the car, or whoever drive the car. We called it Tranny Gate. This was might have been like 2017, 18, something. This was a couple years ago. That Polite had that there. But Vocab Malone will get this battle. He will get this battle. I wanted to be in person so bad. If he's in Arizona, if he's in San Diego, if he's on the mountain of Kilimanjaro, I'll show up and do this debate. In person, I'll do this debate. And then we'll see if it's lawful or if it's biblical to have our oppressor on their knees bowing to black people. So I'm on record. I don't know if it's people watch or anything like that, but y'all have heard me officially say I have contacted Sinetta and I have agreed to battle Vocab on his debate of, and that's the only topic. There ain't no side topic. There ain't no separate topic. That's the only topic that we're going to discuss. However many rounds. If he won 5 rounds, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. What I mean by subject, meaning not that he can't mention nothing else, but there ain't going to be nothing else on the card. Nothing else on the card except is the boot kiss in the Bible, and is it lawful to get? So I wanted to promote that as well. Y'all know, again, if y'all haven't, y'all should be seeing this. This is being streamed on Black Watch and Cross the Line Radio. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's right by the bell. If you haven't thumbed up the video, make sure you thumb up the video. We got on Cross the Line, I see 207 people in here. Let's get the likes up. If you ain't on the Black Watch, make sure you get on the Black Watch. Let's get it popping. All right, it's time to get rocking and rolling. Now, okay, I'm coming with it. 1 sec.
All right, can you hear me and see me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you.
You can hear us, right?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you guys. Sound great.
All right.
He said he should be here in 5 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll the intro and play the songs and stuff. So
no
can
sweat.
right into it.
Good
Sound
to
good?
go. Yep, that's good. That's perfect. Yep.
All right, cool.
Depending on that intro.
No, I understand. It's now they're gonna they're gonna start seeing this, right? Or are they only gonna see me?
I'm gonna share the screen once
Right.
we get going.
Okay. So y'all will be able to see the screen. Tazaryach is gonna share the. Can they hear me? Tazaryach will share the screen. We just waiting to see what their intro is gonna sound like, and then we go from there.
And you know, they're not the only ones, like you said, who comb the hair. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I barely tune in, but every once in a while, our moderator Mika sends me something. I might tune in for a second if I got the time. And they all do it. What's his name? Cat with the head like a milk dud. He
Polite.
No, not the other one. Garfield.
Oh yeah. He actually, and what's funny is you would think Garfield was a Muslim. It looks like he has an impermeated black mark on his forehead. I could be wrong, but when I look at him, I feel like I see Garfield has bowed his head to Allah a million times. Like, you know, like when they be bowed, they get that black dot. That's what Garfield's forehead looks to me.
But he had a Jewish woman on his channel that was breaking down the Torah, and he was treating her like she was the authority.
Listen, I was just talking to a sister today, and she and I both agreed Garfield combs the hair too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm backing up what you're saying. Like Garfield combs, like Garfield got a fine tooth comb. He got a regular comb. Yeah. He got multiple combs, depending on their hair, and he combs their hair and brushes it good.
Like if that white woman would have said tap dance, he would have.
He was tap dancing.
I'm trying to tell you,
he was getting his shine on.
Fred Astaire, like he's going in.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just sending a text to the general. Afterwards, doing the battle right now. All right, let me see. Text one. All right, let me see your kill string. No sweat. So, like I was saying, you got Black Watch. Make sure y'all subscribe. You got Cross the Line Radio. We'll be having class this Thursday. Make sure y'all support the cookouts. You know, Chicago's cookout is July 23rd to the 25th. Let me make sure I got the dates right, because my require texts me every time. Slack is such and such date. So let me see. I believe it's July. I know it's in July. I got that part right. July 23rd to the 25th, I believe I want to say. I know New York's cookout is August 19th to the 21st. You got Texas after that, followed by Cali, followed by closing out with Miami. Woo. Every time I say closing out with Miami, I say woo. I say woo-wee.
Yeah, I was just talking to Captain Shawar yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, after Texas, we trying to rent a yacht. He was like,
yeah, the yacht boat. Y-A-C-H.
Jesus.
The yacht. Not yacht. The yacht boat. We're going to be on a yacht. What's the most important fate? What's the most important fate to make the... What? Knowledge seeker, what is that? What's the most important fate? I don't know what that means, man. Fate. I don't know what you're saying. You might want to retype the question that you're asking. While we waiting for Killstream, we'll do this like Car Chronicles. If y'all got any questions in the chat, y'all can go ahead and type them in the chat. Let me pull up the Black Watch link so I can pull that up too, so I can look at both of them at the same damn time. That's why I like this setup. So y'all don't see this. Oh, God, I wish I got a portable 3 screens.
What?
I got a portable 3 screens. So like y'all don't see the setup I have. Why I have 3 screens, 3 monitors in front of me. So I bought this thing where my laptop, the monitors on the laptop. So it's a thing where it claps onto the laptop, and there's a monitor on this side and that side and plugs in.
Oh, that's fire.
So I get 3 screens on that too.
That's super fire.
I like having multiple screens.
Yeah, you got all the gadgets now, man.
I'm a geek.
Fire.
Yeah, I'm a geek. I'm just a geek you can't cross the line with. That's all. Just don't cross that line. We Gucci. Goop. So I'm going over to Black Watch so I can check it out. No, that's crossing line radio. Hold on, let me go over to Black Watch. Boom. Got the live Black Watch. Got it on there. And okay, let me make sure. Yeah, I am subscribed. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. I see us on. So if y'all got any questions y'all want to put in the chat while we waiting for Killstream to come on, y'all let me know. We'll go ahead and get it in. Let me get the live chat. I don't know why they put a top chat in the live chat. Just give me the live chat so we can see it all. How much did you pay for it? It cost me. I actually didn't pay for it. I could only surmise how much it cost. It cost me. I think it was like $250. If I could see it, I used to see it on my timeline. If I see it on my timeline, I'll flex and show y'all what it is. Let me see. Hold on. I changed. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm trying to text. I'm getting so many texts. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I see. I usually see it on my timeline, and if I can see it on my timeline, I'll tell y'all. I'll show y'all what the thing is now because I want to show y'all. It was showing up, and when I tell y'all, like whenever you ever like something on Facebook, like an advertisement, and then all it does is show you stuff from that advertisement.
I've liked stuff on Google, and it started showing me that.
Yeah. Or you talk about it, and the next thing you know, it pops up.
It's just there.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find it now. It don't want to show up. Let me see. I didn't buy it on Amazon. I'm trying to. Maybe I'll go to my email and look it up, but I don't even remember what the thing is called. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, it costs $400. Excuse me. It costs $400. No, I did not buy it. Nope, that's a Costco laptop. If you see any questions in the chat, Tazaryach, let me know. I'll answer. I'm just trying to find it.
I just told them to call up Thursday for an answer.
Oh no, I just said we're gonna do it like Car Chronicles till Kill
right
Street.
now?
Yeah, I would. If they put in any questions, I'll go ahead and answer the questions.
Oh, sorry, I was reading something over here.
Why do you promote a vaccine that was planned out years ago? We don't promote a vaccine. Actually, we're just not afraid of a vaccine. There's a difference. Just like you ain't afraid to take a leave if you get sick. I ain't afraid to rinse my mouth out with this good old Listerine and make my breath smell good. But some people are allergic to different medicines and allergies. So what we do, proper leadership is always important with everything. So we don't promote the vaccine, but like any medicine, you consult with your doctor to make sure you won't have any side effects, and then that's fine. With that said, the last time I looked up on how many fatal deaths came from the vaccine, I think it was like 12 out of the millions that taken it. Might be more than 12. But so the percentages don't match. So any medicine you can have a problem with or have an allergic reaction to it. So now the device is called the Zbeck. It's spelled, this one I get the, I ain't never flex on Cross the Line Radio, so I get the flex now. When I'm in the Car Chronicles, this is my flex. This is my flex.
I've seen you.
That's my flex. I'm just showing you, like, because it folds, it open, it folds.
It's too much for me.
It opens, it folds, then it opens. So now this is the
you're gonna break the ribbon in that phone.
Nah, they've done it like a million times so that it works. Yeah, we hear you.
Wait, no, I gotta unmute.
Apparently not.
No, we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
We hear you fine.
You can hear us?
Can y'all hear us? Can they hear us? Did you unmute?
They should be able to. We're unmuted.
Hey,
Hey,
Ralph,
guys.
can you hear me?
I'm heard. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Are we live?
I don't. You would have to ask Ralph that. I don't know if he's live on his channel. We're live on my channel, so whatever you say can and will be held against you, so to speak.
I haven't heard that for years, man, since I was in the States.
Yeah,
I believe you and I may have been neighbors for a while. I may have seen you on the street in New York City. You guys are in Brooklyn? You guys in downtown Brooklyn, right?
No, that might have been a different group. We're primarily in Harlem. Sometimes in the Bronx and Queens. We haven't broken ground out there, but you might have seen some of some other Israelites or something like that that you encountered.
Yeah.
My organization is ISUBK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under Commander Jenny Hanna. That's my organization.
Nice.
So I guess we're just waiting for Ralph and to hop up.
Yeah, let's do that.
I have another gentleman that's with me that you might hear. He's working the boards, but he may chime in if he feels like it. Just letting you know so you don't feel like you're being ambushed.
I'm always ambushed on Ralph's show. It's always me against someone, and then like whoever they bring along with them. So yeah.
Okay. I should have made a coffee.
What time is it by you? 9 in the evening?
9:40.
Bro, it's 4:30 in the morning by me.
Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, because you're all the way in Israel, right?
Yeah. Have you ever been down here?
Yes. 2017.
Really?
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah, I visited.
How did you find it?
You said, how did I find? What do you mean? How did I like it?
Yeah. Did you like it?
I thought it would be better if you guys wasn't there.
Many people think so as well.
Yeah, if you guys wasn't there, the land would probably be a lot better. And not just you guys, the Palestinians too. I don't think none of y'all have a right to the land. That's why there's so much war.
You know that if you look at it from a satellite, you look at Israel from like a satellite, you'll see that Israel is much greener than Syria, than Lebanon, than Egypt. Like since we've come, we've made the land greener. We've made the beaches nicer. We've added a lot to the natural topography of the land. So
right, but y'all deny my people from entering into the land. Like right now, you have the people that live in Dimona that y'all are trying to deport. So as nice as you greenize the land, as you say, the people, which is more important, you don't let stay in there.
Well, there are a couple of thousand Hebrew Israelites in Dimona, and I don't think they're all being deported. There was one group that was there illegally.
About 65 to 7. Well, when you say illegally, that's interesting, because you guys divided the land in 1948 from the Palestinians by force, by war. So
we won it in a war, yeah.
Right. So
how would you take it if you took it back? Would you just sue? You think you would win the land with the UN? You think they would say, "All right, Captain, what's your name? Captain Tazaryach."
You actually said it
correct.
Yeah,
do you think the UN would say, "Captain, here's the land. You want it in the court. You get some Jewish lawyer to fight."
No, but when I say y'all fought for it, y'all didn't get it by any biblical right. You got it from military right. Here's the difference. I'll tell you the difference.
How did we get it biblically? Didn't Joshua conquer the land by force?
Okay, I'm
Didn't even in the time of Moses there was wars.
Well, I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. The Lord didn't tell y'all that land belonged to y'all to go get it. The Americans fought for y'all. The British fought for y'all. And after they fought for y'all, then y'all went in there and took it. When Moses and them did it, they didn't join to other nations to get that freedom. Even when you go into, Chronicles or Ezra? When Ezra and them wanted to build up the temple, and the king, the heathen king, wanted to give them other people to help them build up the temple, they wouldn't accept help from foreigners because they had the Most High. Whereas y'all, not only have y'all received help from foreigners, y'all get funded with billions of dollars a year from them same foreign nations. So if you're gonna bring up the Bible, you would have to show me where the Lord allowed. No,
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
No, you brought up Joshua. You brought up Joshua.
No, but after you said that we only took the land by force and not biblically, to which I responded.
That's correct.
That biblically it was also taken by force.
That's correct.
And then you said,
but with whose help?
If you took it, okay.
I just want to know, like, with whose help was it taken?
So if
I'm
you're
talking about Moses. When you brought up Joshua and Moses.
I'll respond.
Okay, no sweat.
If you allow me to respond.
I will. I just wanted. No, I don't have a problem with you respond. I just wanted you to hear my question clear. That's all.
All right. I heard your question. You're saying that if you're being aided by any earthly force, then you're not being aided by the Most High.
Our
God.
guests here already, they can hear me now.
Hey guys.
Let me get the video set up. I don't have any clue what these guys have been talking about.
Yeah, you know, let your mic. Yeah, you had the mics
okay,
open.
now,
You had the mics open, Ralph. So
let me.
Are we live?
Hold on, guys.
Ralph, are we live on your show?
I gotta try to fix the screen where it's just you two, and I'll move my ugly face around somewhere else. All right. You know, we gotta have the whole face-off aspect here. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm getting it there. You wouldn't think I've done this like 9,000 times now. Okay. Now let me pull up the other window. That over here. Oh shit.
Give me a moment, guys. I'm going
Judas, I can't see you all of a sudden.
Yeah, give me a minute. My beautiful face will be right back. Give me a moment.
Let me tab. Okay, what's up, man? Are you turning your camera back on, or? I'll turn mine on.
Yeah, he said he turned it off temporarily.
Okay, all right, good. Well, I'll continue setting it up then.
Mm-hmm.
How you been, Captain? It's been a while.
I've been all right. I can't complain. You know, still slanging and banging. You know what I mean? Teaching his word. You know what I mean? Looking for new people to destroy. Watching the Israeli and the Palestinians go at it over land that they don't occupy. That they don't have a claim to. So that's it. I've been doing the same things. Got my little business going. Actually, it's been pretty successful. Been running for about 2 years. So doing the same old thing, I guess. How about yourself? How y'all been rocking, man? Hey, I did. I don't know if you saw, but I remember when y'all had Jesse Lee on there. So they actually contacted us, and I actually did his show. I think in January, I did his show.
I watched your show with Jesse.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah, it was good.
I saw that, and my heart swelled with pride when I saw you on there. I had to take a little bit of small credit for that, I guess. Since,
I mean, you was part of the connection. Y'all always gonna get y'all. You gonna make sure y'all get y'all credit.
Good to see it, man. I said something on Instagram, I think, or something. I was proud to see it, man. It was a good spot for you.
Yeah, I thought it was a good conversation. Jesse, you got to be quick with the answers because as soon as you get him, he gonna run to the next question. So it wasn't that bad. Yeah, so it wasn't that bad.
He does do that. By the way,
I do like when Jesse makes them. I don't know what's the word you could use. Them alternative lifestyle people run off the show. Lesbians. I do like when he does that. I love when he does that, man. So. That's always good.
Now they're saying there's a little bit of lag. We're on Odyssey tonight, so we don't have to worry about like strikes and stuff like that.
Perfect. Perfect.
That was a wise move, right?
Yeah, because I remember the last time I think I got y'all in trouble. I think they killed the live, right? Didn't they kill it or something like that?
Yeah, they killed it during the middle of the show.
We're not going to be on YouTube.
Well, I'm about to look at that in a second. I'm about to fix that, hopefully.
Well, I know because we always cross stream when we do this, so I know we're on YouTube. If y'all want to check it out,
yeah, you can watch. You can just do that. Honestly,
yeah, we're on. If you go to Cross the Line Radio on YouTube, you should see to cross stream as well.
Yeah, because I meant to have a restream set up, but the way I don't know, it misfired or whatever. So I don't know. I might look at that in a second. But you can also watch on his. If I'm not able to, because it's kind of weird. Anyway, go ahead and introduce yourself, Captain. Talk for 3 or 4 minutes while I step away, and let if this is the first time.
Oh, this is live now.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tell everybody who you are.
So, okay. So for those that don't know, for those that don't know, I'm Captain Tazaryach. I am the heavyweight champion on Killstream thus far. Thanks to the Most High. I am Captain Tazaryach of ICBK under Commander Jenny Hanna, who's the leader on this nation of planet Earth for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What we do here in North and Central and South America is we teach the truth of the Bible, who it's for, who the real children of Israel are biblically. When you go through our history, whether it be picture or just folklore or just acceptance, you have a set of people that claim to be the Jews or the chosen people of God, and we make the same claim. So the only way to really resolve that claim is to go into the divine scriptures, which I believe the gentleman on the line called the scriptures divine. You would have to go into the divine scriptures and see who fits that narrative, not who can, because their military is a little bit stronger, lay claim by just saying it, but you have to have an actual ethnic connection to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so that's what we teach. So we debunk the lies through history, through the Bible, and so that's Captain Tazaryach of ISUBK. That's what I am. I don't know if I need to talk a little longer or if the other guy wants to chime in, but that's my opening spiel, so to speak.
All right. I thought we were going to wait for Ralph before I get on, but I can start now.
Well, he had me do the introduction. That's why I said I don't know how much he wants me to talk. I didn't want to filibuster.
He said a couple of minutes. Expand. Let's wait. You could talk some more.
I don't know what else.
I'm back.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I took enough time.
Now,
see,
that's good. You were right on it. Go ahead, Mr. Maccabeus. Tell them who you are. They seen you more.
All right. I'm Judas Maccabeus. I'm a Sephardic Jew living in Israel on a farm. I don't usually. My channel has been banned from YouTube, and I haven't posted for a while. But there is a YouTube channel called Judas Maccabeus. I may get back to it, so you can find me on Twitter on that handle. I always found people like the Captain to be very interesting, because it's always nice to see yet another group of people claiming to be the real Jews, while us, with a tradition going back, a living tradition going back all the way to our forefathers, have never given up that claim. So it's interesting because, you're arguing that we're pretending to be who we are. So my purpose in this debate is just to have a friendly conversation, ask you a few questions. I don't know a whole lot about you. I've been stopped by you guys in the street several times, but I was with my kids and I was too busy to deal with it, and I wasn't sure what's up with all those costumes. A lot of satin going on. I didn't have time for it, but now we have a couple of hours. Let's dig in. I have a few questions. I can start with my questions now, or
start with your questions. By the way, I thought I had the restream fixed, but it's not really going to work. But I'm going to go ahead and toss the ad back up so we can run Entropy through it. And I already see a couple over here on Entropy.
Okay. So before I start my questions, I'm first going to start with saying that there's something. I did some research on you guys and the history of your movement, and there's something about you guys that I really respect, though. Okay, and even though there are things that I disagree with you, obviously, the part of what the Black Hebrew Israelites do that I respect is the fact that you provide Black youth with direction in life. You provide them with a strong identity and even with values. Like, I don't think the kids that go to your services or your group, they're probably kept off the streets, they're kept off drugs, they're probably better fathers, better brothers, right? Better citizens. So I respect that. It doesn't make a difference if I disagree with you on history or on religion. It's hard to look at something like that and say, oh, that's bad, And for those of my friends and those of my followers who watch this and say, oh, but they're making religious claims that seem ridiculous. Many people make ridiculous religious claims, right? People don't follow religion for logic. People follow religion for emotional needs. That people need identity. People need a connection. People need a father figure. And the ideas of the Black Hebrew Israelites are not that much different than the idea of the virgin birth as far as how reasonable it is. So if we're going to judge these people on that, and we'll have to judge all religions, I'm not here to judge you on those things, but I'm genuinely curious in how you view yourselves, because you're claiming to be me, So my first question is, it's going to be easy. I'm not tricking you. I'm not playing games. At what point did you guys, according to your view, at what point did you guys leave the land? Like, what's the history? Tell us a little bit about how the Black Hebrew Israelites ended up in Africa being sold as slaves.
Okay, so just a few corrections. I know it's very common to say Black Hebrew Israelites, and even sometimes we use it because it's a popular catchphrase, but to be accurately and biblically sound, we're just Israelites. There is no black.
It's not about color to you. You don't have to be black to be an Israelite, according to you.
Right. You asking the question to be answered, or are you going to interrupt me again?
All right, go on.
I appreciate it. So now, we don't use the term like black again is something that they put on us because black is just a color. Black also is a condition. And so as a condition, we're called black, but none of us are the actual color black. So we don't say black Israelites because then there could be white Israelites. There could be yellow Israelites. There could be red Israelites. So, I mean, it could be the whole crayon box of fucking Israelites. Excuse my language. So with that said, the question that you asked about how did we get to through Africa, even to America, just a brief history. If you know anything about the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD, you can find any history and you can see that over 1 million Jews, black Jews, I'm using that term on purpose now. This is what I mean when I say we use it ourselves, but to be biblically correct, we're Israelites, fled into Africa. Not only into Africa, but we also were in Europe. A lot of history was destroyed, which started with the Renaissance era. So because we was in the Roman military and you would have garrisons all throughout Europe, we was also in Europe, but we specifically went into or fled into Africa when when Jerusalem fell as a state. And then as our time we was in Africa, the common part of history is that Africans sold Africans into slavery, but that's just not true. Africans sold Israelites into slavery, and so when we came over here to the Americas enslaved, you had some that will remember that they were Israelites. Harriet Tubman's line would be one of them. If you find, there's videos where you can find of Harriet Tubman's family when they tell you that she knew she was an Israelite and she had an Israelite name, and that's why they would call her Moses as an example of trying to free her people, and even the songs that they would sing will correlate to the slave. And so you would fast forward all throughout our slavery, other men would rise up like your Nat Turner, like your Denmark Vesey. And so around the 1900s, when we started interacting with a lot of the so-called Jews, they would give us, even though we knew we were, they would give us their Torah. I'm saying theirs just for teaching edification right now. So the so-called Jew would give us their Torah, they would give us their Tanakh, they would give us their records, and as we were reading the records, we would say, these scriptures don't fit these people. They fit us. So you would have your Rabbi Ford, you would have your Rabbi Matthew, you would have all these people that would start coming into or waking up to the truth. Like in Revelation when it says the earth shall help the woman. So not only would we have the Torah Tanakh, we would also have history start opening up. Like books we would read, like Lost Tribes in Promised Land, where you find out that the Seminole Indians knew that they were from the tribe of Reuben and that their brother Joseph was on an island nearby. This is history that predate ISUBK, which comes about in 1969. So in 1969 is where our organization started, by three brothers first, Ariyah, Yaquab, and Mashah, and then it was formed by four other men, Lahab, Yeshaya, Kazak, and Shar, and those 7 men collectively founded what today is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. So our history of being Israelites is not something new. It's new in the sense that because of the internet, because of YouTube and stuff like that, people see these black people on TV talk about they're the Israelites and stuff like that, but our history or sojourn from Israel to America is a history that if it's searched out, it can be found, to answer your question.
All right. I'm a little confused though, so I hope you don't mind. So let's say a Jew like me, my ancestors are from Syria and Iraq, right? When did we start pretending to be you?
In 2 Kings,
Jew.
the 17th chapter, you can start there. When the nation of Israel, that's why it's always interesting whenever I dialogue with one of you people, y'all only bring up Jew, whereas us being in the truth, we know that Jew is a generalized term, so to speak. So Jew could be Judah, Jew could be Southern Kingdom, Jew in some cases can encompass all 12 tribes of Israel, but we never hear y'all mention of the other tribes of Israel. Y'all never mention Naphtali. Y'all never mention.
But if you mention Chronicles, you know that the 10 tribes as a group were exiled by Sennacherib.
That's actually going to get to my point. You should stop interrupting me. Learn some decorum. I seen you with the Syrian.
Ralph,
I seen you with the.
Ralph, I have a question. Let's do this. But in order for this to be civil, I'd like you to be the. You're gonna tell who speaks. I don't want to have a fight. It's 4:30 in the morning.
I understand that. I understand that, but my man,
I'm here to respect the guy, and I don't want to interrupt. I'm serious though. So I'm going to ask Ralph to step in as a moderator, and you're going to call whose turn to speak when. So I gave you 5 minutes. I started asking you questions, and again, I'm interrupting you. Maybe I'm the bad guy.
Well, you asked me a question, and as I go to answer it, you want to tell me about the other tribes in Chronicles.
Ralph, you moderate.
All right, now let him. So just go ahead, Judas. Say something, and then let.
Well, he asked me the question. Well,
Okay,
Ralph, he actually asked me the question about.
You were talking about the tribes, the different tribes.
Right, I was talking about the different tribes. He asked me when did he become a convert, and so as I go to answer,
according to you, yeah.
All right, well, go ahead and answer.
Right.
Go ahead.
So as I go to answer it, like when he did his whole diatribe and talk, I didn't interrupt him. But if you're gonna interrupt me, I'm just gonna call you on it. I'm not the Syrian girl, so I'm gonna call you on your interruption, especially if I don't interrupt you. So if I don't interrupt you, you shouldn't interrupt me. Now, if you want to have that type of back and forth, I don't have a problem with it. I'm flexible, but just don't get mad when I interrupt you as well. So I can play it however you want. So to answer your question, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
No problem. So if you interrupt me, I'm not going to say anything else about it. If you interrupt me again, I'm just going to look at that as we can have a interruption between each other's conversation. So I won't say anything else about it, so you don't have to feel all touchy. So now, to answer the question, when you go to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, that's why I was saying there's 11 other tribes. You got Levi, Simeon, Gad, Naphtali, Manasseh. What I notice about you people is y'all don't have a care for the other 11 tribes that exist because you never mention them. They're never mentioned. And of course, in his response, he'll find some wiggle room to say, no, we talk about Manasseh amongst ourselves, but collectively they just know us as Jews. If you're actually teaching the truth, you talk about all 12 tribes. So in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, which I'm going to read, 2 Kings 17, and I'm going to start at verse 24. Now, just to give it back.
Wait. Where are you reading?
2 Kings 17 and 24.
Can you read it in Hebrew, though, since you're an Israelite?
No, I would not read it in Hebrew. And here's
you can't read Hebrew?
No, I could. If I was to pull this up in the Tanakh, I could read it in Hebrew. But here's why I'm not reading it.
You're an Israelite. I don't know.
Here's why I'm not reading it in Hebrew. 2 reasons. 1, the scriptures say if you're going to speak in a foreign tongue, there must be an interpreter. 3, for time's sake, I would have to read it both times. I would have to read it in Hebrew, and then I would have to read it in English. Since the people that I'm speaking to speak English very fluently, I'll just read it in Hebrew. I'm just giving in English.
Which Gentile translation are you going to use to read it in Hebrew, if I may ask?
I'm reading it in the King James translation.
Oh, so King James translation. Okay.
Yeah, but King James would not be a Gentile because King James was a brother like me. He was not a white guy like you.
Ooh.
So I can read from the King James because that's my brother. You reading it would be the Gentile reading it. And I wouldn't want you to read Hebrew.
I'm reading it in the original language as my grandfather did.
But you're not. But you see how you made a statement to say which Gentile translation? You're a Gentile pretending to be an Israelite. So I wouldn't want to hear you read it in Hebrew either.
I don't know what level of gaslighting this is when a guy is telling me that King James is the Jew and I'm the Gentile, but go on.
No, it's an excellent level of gaslighting because
I'm destroying.
Yeah, I'm burning your belief. That's the point.
Yes, because
so you use the excellent metaphor. The metaphor you gave.
James is a Jew
and let me tell you something. And let me tell you something. What you're saying is the proof that we're the Israelites and you're not. Because the only thing that you can say is a brother from Harlem. I'm amazed at a brother from Harlem. When Moses did it, Moses gave up his seat. How many Israelite men that were looked at in the lowest state in the Bible, disrespected in the Bible, but became great men? You did disrespect me. You know how you disrespect me? Because a brother from Harlem can't know nothing because all we is niggas and spicks. So niggas and spicks can't say that they're the men of God. They can't say King James is a Gentile.
I'm not the one denying your identity. You're the one that's
no. You said a brother from Harlem. Is that what you said?
I'm here to listen.
I'm just asking a question.
You're here saying that I'm not the Jew that I.
No problem. And you don't believe that I am either. But I didn't disrespect you by saying a brother from Harlem. That's what you said.
Well, I'm listening.
And you did that to belittle me. Again, I'm not the Syrian girl. So you did that to belittle me, but you can't.
You're definitely
so I'm
not
gonna
the Syrian,
answer.
bro.
I appreciate it. So I'm gonna answer. So now the brother from Harlem is gonna answer the question and bring out the truth again. What I'm saying, I can back up. Like what I said about King James, I can back up with history. That's the difference. So again, in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, in the 24th verse. Now, for time's sake, as I was trying to say, this is when the 10 tribes or the northern kingdom got kicked out. And this is when nations were put in place. And this is where you guys come in. So in 2 Kings 17 and 24, it says, in the king of Assyria brought up men from Babylon and from Cathath and from Uah and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim. All of these are Assyrian, or what would later become the Syrians, that were put in place and put in that land instead of the children of Israel. And what did they have to do? So now when they was there, and when you read 25, it says, and so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew them. Verse 26, wherefore the king of Assyria saying, the nations, they spake to the king of Assyria saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of God. So the Lord allowed priests to show them how to not offend God. So from this point is when you guys started pretending to be your kind, because you have two sets of the imposters, so to speak. You have the Ashkenazis or the Khazarians, which I don't believe you make claim. So you lay claim to the Syrian side. So this is where you guys would start to think that you are us. That's why in Romans the 9th chapter, it says they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Because there are plenty of people that pretend to be Israel. But you would have to fit the biblical narrative of the Israelites in order to actually be the Israelites. And you guys don't fit that.
Go ahead, Judas. It's your turn to talk. By the way, we are on Trovo. We just have an ad. I had meant to have a setup where we would have a restream on YouTube, but the actual stream on Odyssey seems to be working well for most, and we get the freedom to say just about whatever we want over here, as you saw with the captain's colorful language there.
I can't say those words.
Oh, you can.
No,
you
okay,
can.
okay.
You
Oh,
can
okay.
hear. Yeah, you can hear.
I was just saying what this guy wanted to say. He didn't want to call me brother. He wanted to say the nigga. Yeah, he wanted to say the nigga from Harlem. He gonna tell me about King James. That's what he wanted to say.
He wanted to say too. To be fair, what do you say to that, Judas? And go ahead and respond and ask.
So I never want to insult a person personally, and I don't want to insult people's religion. Okay, are we doing the interrupting thing, or are we not?
I just said that you interrupted me. I said I wasn't gonna say anything else about you interrupting me, but if you do, I'll look at it as that's how you want to dialogue. And then you interrupted me, and I didn't say nothing. So you can't say nothing now.
Now until the end of the stream, I'm gonna have to deal with your interruptions, or am I?
I don't know. I may be quiet. I may not. But in all my speaking,
no, it's 5 in the morning.
It sounds like
I get to speak or not?
You shouldn't cry now. But you shouldn't cry.
I don't need to do this.
Come on.
Either it's going to be moderated or not. I'm not going to have. I can't have a yelling match with you, bro.
Look at the
Go ahead. Go ahead and speak, Judas. He got to talk.
No heart.
Got this? Okay. So, okay. I actually went to high school in the States, and when I was a kid, even though I was born in Jerusalem, and I don't remember studying that Harriet Tubman was. Not only did I not remember her studying that she was Jewish, I remember being taught that she was from the Ashanti tribe, if I remember correctly. Her name, she did not have a biblical name. Yes, many slaves and ex-slaves and people who tried to free themselves found meaning in our story of redemption from slavery, and they adopted it, and we are totally okay with it. But I did not find any history of either Harriet Tubman or Nat Turner or any of these ladies or gentlemen, being Jewish. And if you can put something up for me to learn about this, I would. I thought she was a Methodist and originally from the Ashanti tribe. That's what I was taught. Maybe I'm wrong. It would be nice if you brought some evidence to that claim. Regarding your claim that Sephardic and Ashkenaz Jews were brought in by Sennacherib in the 7th century during the exile of the 10 tribes, that's all very interesting, but there's no proof of that. This is a claim that you're making, okay? And I don't begrudge you that claim, okay? And I don't think there's anything we can do in this debate where you can prove it. If you could provide any evidence other than a verse that there were some people that were exiled and there were some people that were that stayed behind, that would be nice. But Ralph, I have a question. Is it okay if I posted like a link or some pictures on the screen that we can all see?
Sure. Yeah, you can do that.
All right, so I'm gonna put it here in the chat. Okay, see if I can figure this out. Is there a way you can post pictures in the chat?
You should be able to share your screen yourself, but if you post it, I could pull it up. But if you screen share,
I can share screen. Okay.
I believe so.
So
yeah.
I'd like to share screen and for a moment, and I'd like to pose a question here to Captain Tazaryach, if that's okay.
That should be fine. Yeah, you see the present now button? I think that's what.
Yeah, I see it.
Hey, can I answer your question while you say you wasn't taught this about Harriet Tubman?
Yeah, you please do.
There's a book I'm gonna read from, right? The name of the book is called Chosen People of the Caucasus, written by Milton Bradley. I want to correct you on something, and this is what I pay very attention to what I say. And if anybody heard my response when I spoke about the Khazarian so-called Jews, I separated them from you people. I said you people came from 2 Kings 17. I never said that was the case with Amalek or the Ashkenazi. That's a different set of white people that tried to impersonate us. So those are two different classes. I want to correct you on your grave mistake there. And then to answer your question as to why you wasn't taught that in school, this very book that what page is that?
This is page 23 of Chosen People from the Caucasus.
Page 23 of Chosen People from the Caucasus. Please read that, Tazaryach.
Jewish professors are inordinately represented in subjects such as sociology and anthropology, subjects of study that deal with human relations and development. Jewish experts in the fields are again inordinately represented on boards of education, influencing what is taught from preschool through graduate study.
Say that again.
Jewish experts in the fields are again inordinately represented on boards of education, influencing what is taught from preschool through graduate study.
Now, what that means is you people control the narrative.
By the way, Judah, send me that link, and then I'll pull it up. That's not.
You can't see it. You can't see it from here.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see the image that he put up.
It flipped the screen around.
It's a picture, it's not a link.
Right.
I have links.
I know. I'll have to pull it up.
Yeah, pictures are amazing. You know, they got a picture of this guy.
I have a question. I got a question.
Wait, let me finish answering. And what I would work on it.
You want to finish your interruption first? Okay.
No. Well, I said I can answer your question about the Harriet Tubman, and you said go right ahead, and so I did.
Yeah, you started reading from a book, How Jews Control the Media. Great answer, but go
on. Because you won't believe the nigga from Harlem. So maybe you'll believe Michael Bradley. He wrote Chosen People of the Caucasus that showed you were the imposters. I have the other book. I have the other book, Arthur Koestler, 13 Tribe, which also shows y'all the imposter. I also have the book from what Adolf Hitler and them said, and showed the images of what the Jews really look like, which I'll show that as well. Because you might not believe the nigga from Harlem, so I gotta bring the white people. I gotta bring the white people so you believe it, and so the Jewish people control the narrative. Here, I'll take it off for you and I for a second. I'll give you an example of controlling the narrative. This has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with me. They teach that Columbus discovered America in 1492. As if they thought the earth was flat, and Columbus set out to say that the earth was not flat, that it was round, and that was a lie. They knew of the land over here already and was searching for gold. So we was taught our whole life that Columbus found out that the earth was round, it wasn't flat, which was a lie. But who controlled the narrative? The Jewish man or the school board controlled the narrative. So what we as niggas from Harlem did was control the real narrative and went into the real history to show who was the real Israelites and who wasn't. So you're right. You're not going to find that in school. You're not going to find that in school. You're not going to find that in school that Harriet Tubman was an Israelite, because God forbid a black person could be an Israelite. What would that do for other black people? That would make them wake up. You made the excellent point to say the one thing you like about us is that we have the fathers in the home. We not on drugs. We have our people. That's the statement that you made. Now imagine if we knew back in the 1800s and 1900s who we were. Our fathers would be in the homes. We wouldn't be on drugs. We wouldn't have gave into integration. We'd stay
So it's our
segregated,
fault?
and
Whose
we
fault
wouldn't
is it?
be what we are today. But you guys control the narrative and the propaganda. So that's why you don't know that Harriet Tubman knew she was an Israelite, and we do.
Okay, so what you're saying is a claim that cannot be proven. Is that right?
No,
The
I'm
Harriet
not.
Tubman
I'm
claim,
not
could
saying.
that be
No, I
proven?
had. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can email where her family. That's the beautiful thing. Family can say something. So her family gave what her name was. I'm trying to find. I did a lecture on. I did a debate on this, and I'm just trying to find what my lecture, so I can actually give you what her actual Hebrew name was. And she wasn't the only one that had a Hebrew name. Her whole family. You was right when you said she came from the Ashanti tribe. But the thing that y'all don't understand, the Ashanti tribe was the dominant African tribe. We were mixed in. That's why I gave you the history. Over 1 million over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. So we fled into the western part.
So you guys are the Ashantis now?
No,
well? You guys the Ashanti Jews?
No, if you actually if you're a debater, if you're a battler, your listening
I'm not
skills,
a debate,
your
bro.
listening skills are terrible.
But I care about you.
I problem. No, but I say that because your listening skills are terrible. Because I clearly said the Ashanti was the dominant African tribe. That's what I said. We're not
Harriet
African.
Tubman Ashanti? Was she Ashanti or not? I don't know.
She would be Ashanti like I'm American, meaning I have citizenship. This is the land that I was born in, but I am not the dominant people of America. The
She had an
so-called.
Ashanti passport.
Why would she have a passport? You sound stupid now. Like you sound like a child. You sound like a child. How passports wasn't even invented. Are we gonna be children or are we gonna be adults? Because passport wasn't invented back then. Like again, this is not the Assyrian
You're
girl.
making a childish claim. You're making a childish
girl?
claim. I'm sorry.
They call
man.
a Syrian girl.
Syrian girl.
Yeah, they call a Syrian girl. This is not the Syrian girl. So when you say stupid stuff like passports,
All right, you know what, Captain? Why don't
Yeah.
you ask him a question? Because he's got to ask a couple questions already. You know what I mean? So why don't you ask him a question?
okay, no problem. I'll ask you a simple question. Right? The original Israelites, were they your complexion, or would they be of a darker complexion?
Oh, I have an answer for that. All right, let's let me show you how we Israelites understood ourselves. Let me share a screen with you of. Have you heard of the Mishnah, first century book written by rabbis who were still in Israel after the destruction, and that put together the oral law or the commentaries on the law? Have you heard of the Mishnah before?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I have.
Okay. Now, if the rabbis in the Mishnah had a conversation about the complexion of Jews, what Jews look like, right? Would that be acceptable to you?
It
About what
depends.
Jews look
I've
Depends
heard.
what they say, huh? If
No,
they
no,
said
no.
you're black, it would be good. But if they said we're not black, it's not good.
No, because I'm not asking in first century A.D. what they were. I'm asking what were the Israelites were before first century A.D.
Okay, so I'll explain. Let me first share this Mishnah here, because that's what we do. Give me a moment.
But don't share the
I
screen.
just sent
If
you
you
the
have a
link.
link, just send it to me because it's messing up the
Okay.
camera.
So
stuff.
Okay.
I may have to do the same thing.
Ralph,
I may have to do the same thing. I'm gonna reply to the email you sent me
That's fine.
and send you the link of Harriet Tubman's family saying
Okay,
she
Ralph,
was an
Ralph,
Israelite.
can you share? Ralph, I sent you a picture on Twitter. Can we share that picture first?
Sure,
And then
I
I'll
can
show
do
you
that.
the Mishnah itself, where the text. I'll show you some pictures and some text, and you tell me if that answers your question.
Let me pull it up. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the picture you're trying to show. For some reason, it messes
Wait,
up
let me
everything.
see if
on
I
this
can see the
thing.
picture. I'm
It's kinda
sorry.
weird. Yeah, I'll pull it up on stream and then you'll be able to see it. Just
Okay.
give me 1 second.
So let me know when the
I'll take-
captain can see it and when everyone else can.
Okay. Well, it'll be a delay, once it goes up on stream.
Right. So I'll have to wait.
Basically, look, I'll describe it. It's
Yeah,
a
you can
picture of-
describe it and then I'll see it pop
Well,
up.
yeah, it'll be.
Right.
It's a picture of have you heard of the Samaritans? It's a picture of the Samaritan high priest, the previous high priest. Okay, in Israel, in Nablus, otherwise known as Shechem in Hebrew. They've been there since before the destruction of the Second Temple. They never left, and they were never exiled. Okay, they claim to be from the 10 lost tribes, and there's the genetic tests that back it up. Next to it, there's a picture of the chief rabbi of my community, the late chief rabbi, Rabbi Kassin, Syrian. And there's a picture of the chief rabbi of a Hasidic sect in Brooklyn from Poland, all right, Bobover rabbi. All three of these old men look extremely similar, and they also have a similar complexion. My answer to you, Captain, visually, is that that's what I think Jews, for the most part, look like. Hebrews, what we look like. It doesn't mean that none of us were darker. It doesn't mean that none of us either mixed in with other ethnicities and converted them to our religion or not. But overall, that was what we looked like. Moreover, in the Second Temple period, we have mosaics.
See a bunch of Hebrew and like translation.
So there's Hebrew and there's English. I'm sure the captain can understand the Hebrew because he's a Hebrew, and there's English as well. There's an English translation as well. So we can, for the good of those who don't understand, we can look at the English and we can see what the Chachamim of the Mishnah, how they saw Jews. I can even read it for you, right?
Okay, you send the image. You
Which
send the
passage are we
images.
reading
I
here?
want to see the images that you're referring to.
We can start with the image. Can you pull up the image, Ralph?
The one that
Because I'm
just
looking
showed
online, like the images that I see online is of white men, but I could be mistaken.
Okay,
That's why I want to see what you're. I want to see
on
what
the
you're
stream
saying.
screen, but I'll put it in the chat too.
Oh yeah, if you could,
Brother,
you know what you could do? You could Ralph, you could email it to me, and then I could just see it myself. That would be good enough because I know you're having a little technical issue. So
we're having a debate for everyone. It's not just a debate.
No,
for,
I'm only
for
saying
I,
that.
you know?
No, I'm only saying that because of the issues that Ralph is having trying to show it. So I'm
No,
at least want
I
to.
showed it on the screen. It's been shown on the screen.
Okay, so if you can see it on the screen now, can we see it on the screen now? And we'll show this to everyone.
Oh
right?
yeah, I haven't
the top
seen it.
Right,
That's why I said
Samaritan.
that. I haven't seen it.
The top right is a Samaritan, never left Israel. The bottom right is a Syrian chief rabbi, left Israel for 2,000 years. Okay, and to the left is a rabbi from Poland. They all have a similar complexion.
You said that's online, right?
Now it's on the stream right now. I sent it in your email, and it's also in the chat here on the Google Hangout.
Bro, just open it up in your email. Everyone else can see it. Now you can see it as well.
It's here, and it's on screen right now. By the way, I pulled it back.
Are you talking about? Did he pull up the Judaic Capricorn, or you shared that? You shared that on the screen?
I just shared that.
Oh, okay. He showed the my people are saying they can't see it, so I'll just take your. I won't take your word for it.
I just sent it on
Can
email.
you see it?
And
Can
it's
you
you
see
sent it
it?
on email? Okay, no sweat. No. Let me just look at the email. Thank you. I appreciate that.
no
That
problem.
way, because I want to see what you see. That's why I said that.
Yeah, definitely.
I
I
appreciate
want you to see it.
Is this one? No, it can't be this. It got to be a different email than that. It can't be that one. That's the Google Meet link. No, the link that you sent me shows me.
Just now, it's
It
just
says Imgar, says Bob Over Samaritan.
Yeah. Click the imager link. IMGR.
I don't think this is the link you wanted me to see, right? Or do I got to keep scrolling or something like that?
No, it's that. It's the old dudes.
All them old dudes?
Yeah.
Three old dudes?
3 old rabbis, yeah.
And what
Look
did
at
they
the skin
say?
color. So
and
look,
who are they
the bottom
supposed
right,
to be?
the bottom right is tangentially related to me. He's the chief rabbi of
But
the
who are
Syrian
they supposed
community.
to be?
I'm explaining.
Oh, okay,
the bottom right is the chief rabbi of the Syrian community, right? He just passed away last year.
Okay.
The top right is the second to the high priest of the Samaritan community in Nablus. They've never left Israel.
Right.
They've been here. They're literally the 10 lost tribes. They're members of the 10
Right.
lost tribes.
Mm-hmm.
To the left is the Hasidic chief rabbi in Brooklyn of the Bobov sect who passed away maybe 10 years ago. All three of these Hebrews look the same. They have a similar
Okay, that don't
complexion.
answer the question, though. That don't showing me a picture. First
No,
of all,
no.
this is in
So
color.
that's a picture of what we look like a few thousand years ago.
That's
right?
not that's not
my
what y'all
answer.
look like. Like this is idiotic right here.
What
and
about
this
the
is what
guy
I
in the
mean.
top right?
This
What about the
what I-
guy in
this
the
what I-
top right, though?
I don't care who you showing me right here. You made a statement to say the Mishnah from 1st century AD. I thought you were about to show me images of them at least.
Oh no, I have those
You
as well. I have those
you
as well.
showing me
First,
some pictures of some niggas
Alright,
look like they
I
were
got
born in the
those as well.
1900s.
Okay, I have them as well. I have guys from
You're showing me
year
more.
100.
You're showing me more converts.
No
and what
problem.
you want me to
Alright,
do,
tell
the
those
nigga
two.
from
but-
Harlem,
wait,
the nigga
wait.
from
No
Harlem got to
converts.
listen to the Syrian imposter, and you showing me
Okay, but
up
what
to date
about
pictures.
Samaritans?
So here's what
What
I'll do as an example. When
Have
you go
you
to
heard of
Exodus the 3rd
Samaritans?
chapter,
Bro,
when you go to
have you heard of
Exodus,
Samaritans?
One at a time. It's all good. It's all good.
what you
Go-
say?
Hold on. Let Captain ask something first, and then I'll let you get in. He's asking about
Okay.
Samaritans.
Okay,
Judas.
so in Exodus the 3rd chapter, Moses puts his arm into the bosom, and it comes out white. And then he puts his arm back in the bosom, and it comes back like his other body, like the rest of his body. So Song of Solomon 1:5 says, I am black but comely. Even in the book Nature Knows No Color line, a Jewish rabbi even said then that the Israelites were black then. The Iranian Egyptian prime minister?
Egyptian president.
The Egyptian president said that the Jews left black and came back white. So when I ask you my question, what was their complexion or color, you can't show me your granddad or your great granddad, whoever this is in this picture. You can't show me them. You got to show me.
You understand that ignorance is not winning an argument. Have you heard of the Samaritans?
I brought up the Samaritans when I brought up.
Are they Jewish or are they not? Are they the Hebrews or are they not the Hebrews?
Okay, so now depending in the time in history, the
Samaritans today, are they today the descendants of the Hebrews or not?
No, not the Samaritans.
All right.
No.
So how did the Samaritans show up and become Hebrews?
That's why I said. That's why I told you your battle skills are terrible. You should learn to listen. Listening will help you out a lot. I already read 2 Kings 17 where they took out the 10 tribes of Israel and replaced them with other nations, specifically Assyrians, in Samaria. That's why even in the New Testament in John the 4th chapter, when Christ deals with her, Christ tells her when she tries to be like that's a clear example of an imposter, because as she said, Christ says to her, because she thinks she's us, and Christ says to her, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship for salvation of the Jews, and he did nothing for her because she was the imposter, similar to you. So I've answered where the Sumerians today or the Syrians today, where they converted from. I've answered that already.
I understand. I understand your response. So you're saying that even in the Second Temple period, the Jew. So after during the 7th century, right, BC, before the Common Era, when the 10 tribes were exiled, that's when we stopped being black. That's your argument. We started being white.
Well, you keep saying we. You were never an Israelite. You and your people were never Israelite. I don't have a problem with you. The difference between you and I don't care that you said that. I've heard that my whole life, especially since I've been in the truth. All I've ever heard was the brother from Harlem, the nigger from Harlem, the African, the Spic, the Afro-American, the Latino.
But I'm not putting you down.
I'm not saying it like you putting me down.
Stop being so sensitive.
I'm not sensitive.
I'm here to have a dialogue. I'm not here to make you feel bad.
I'm not saying it to be sensitive. I'm saying it to prove a point. I don't care what you call me. The scriptures say, let God be true and every man a liar. That's why I pulled the scripture to show that Moses, when he put his hand in the Lord's bosom, it turned white. When he brought it out, it went back to his other color. Song of Solomon 1:5. Song of Solomon said, I am black but comely, which when you read the book Nature Knows No Color line, even the Jewish rabbis admitted that they were black. The Egyptian prime minister said the Israelites left black and came back white. The entire planet Earth know that y'all are the imposters.
I can jump in here.
I got those pictures uploaded. Now, what were you trying to show with that? And I'll let you go ahead. By the way, we're gonna take callers as well at a certain point, so I'll go ahead and throw out the Discord link.
And again, you haven't proved to answer my question. I pulled scriptures to answer the question. Even David was called ruddy. Ruddy is a derivative of brown. Even though it's not talking about his skin color, even if you was to try to make it a skin color, it's still a derivative of brown.
I don't think you know Hebrew. I
do know Hebrew.
Well, so what was the Hebrew word for ruddy?
I would have to look it up to see.
Okay.
But this is not a debate about who knows Hebrew. My question was, what color were the Israelites?
And
you're not answering the cousin. You're not answering the color of the. You brought up your granddad. We don't want your granddad.
All right, go ahead.
I gotta jump in.
Go ahead.
I don't want your granddad.
Okay, I just posted a few more pictures.
Okay, I'm hoping to see.
We can add them up. I hope everyone else can see. These are mosaics from the 1st century. Synagogues in Israel, even after the destruction of the temple. These are the mosaics of biblical characters. Okay, one is.
Can you send them to me? Because I don't know. I don't know what's up with the stream, but I would like to see
the Maccabees. Same color as the rabbis I posted. Same color as the Samaritans. I don't see any. And before you interrupt, I want to respond to what you said about King David. I don't see any one of your complexion
Oh, I think
really.
I'm seeing it now. That's you putting
Even
that
though you're quite light to me, I'm sure you have
that's you
some
putting
white in
that
there
up.
as well.
That's you putting
Some
that
race
up.
mixing going on. But I think that if you look at the pictures of mosaics of how Romans saw us, so back then they saw us as light-skinned people. Here you got mosaics of the Roman period. Regarding King David, I'm asking you, since I've studied the Bible every week in Hebrew,
Right,
as my
right.
father did, as my grandfather did, as his grandfather did. I didn't make it up in
You know, in the
1969.
Old
I
Testament,
didn't read the
Jeremiah 16th
no
chapter
interruptions.
said y'all
No,
would
don't
inherit
interrupt me.
lies. I can read that
No more
scripture for you
interruptions.
too.
No more interruptions. I'm making a
I
statement.
can read
Right?
that scripture too.
So
You
I've
don't
been
deserve that
raised,
respect because you didn't
unlike
give it
some
in the
people in
beginning.
this screen.
Mhm.
Ralph, can we? For this to go on, this has to be
Look at
moderated.
the crybaby.
I don't yell.
Just come on, go ahead, speak. We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, I'm willing to subject myself to being muted when he speaks, and then I get
No
muted,
problem.
and he
I
gets
tell
muted
you
when
what. So what I'm gonna do.
Ralph, you want to do that?
No. So what I'm gonna do? See, I did this in the beginning where I didn't interrupt you. It was only
you
when you.
didn't.
Yes,
You
I
don't
did.
like
If
being-
anybody,
I don't like.
listen,
No.
listen,
I want.
this is
I
real.
want
This
5
only gonna
minutes.
take 30
Let it
seconds.
be like a real
I
debate.
will
Give
give
us
you.
like 5
Listen,
minute sections. I don't want
I'll
to
give you. I don't have a
It
problem.
becomes a pissing contest.
No problem.
I
I don't have a problem.
I
Just for the record. Just for the record. And when you go back and
Make
watch
myself
this,
some tea.
you'll see in the beginning, I didn't interrupt you either time. It was only when you kept interrupting me, I said, if you interrupt me again, I'm going to take it. This is how you want the dialogue. Now, you can't have it both ways. So now if you want me to be quiet so you can be heard, I don't have a problem. But don't open your mouth when I talk. That's all. You have the floor.
Ralph, is this going to be moderated?
No, I'm not gonna say a word. Whether Ralph moderates or not, I'm not gonna say a word. Just don't open your mouth when I talk.
Saw that.
Don't
We saw that
interrupt.
work.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna call every motherfucker for every interruption from now on. Okay, I'm gonna be a fucking asshole about it. Both you motherfuckers stop interrupting. You know what you're doing. And if you want me to be a fucking dick, yeah, we can do that.
You don't have to with me, Ralph. I'm quiet. He got it.
Yeah. So
He
is
got
that
it.
okay? Okay, so
That's
every
okay
time
with me.
you interrupt Judas, you did this last time, by the way. You interrupted Syrian girl several times after you whined about
Thank you.
fucking interruptions.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna call you every fucking time you interrupt.
Okay.
Me. Okay.
I'm good with that. I'm good with
Okay.
that.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this. All right, I'm going to respond to several points. I sent pictures of Samaritans who never left the land. All right, as well as pictures of well-known rabbis who've left the land, same color. I also sent mosaics of how the Romans and how Jews saw themselves in the first century. I also have a Mishnah, which we're going to read together as well in a moment. I just want, before we start with the Mishnah, as a Jew who reads Hebrew and reads the Tanakh every week correctly in its original language, I don't need King James from England to come explain to me what my book says, right? You said that King David had a brownish complexion because the verse in Hebrew says Admoni. I'm sure that you know enough Hebrew to know that Admoni means reddish, right? It doesn't mean brown, okay? And it's traditionally meant to be red hair. Okay, he was unique in Judah. There were not many Judeans from the tribe of Judah had red hair. He had red hair. That's how we always understood it. Okay, similar to Esau. Esau had red hair as well, and that's where it comes from. It's nothing to do with brown skin color. Now, if we can share the Mishnah again, and I can show you how Jews in the first century, right, how we viewed ourselves. Color was discussed, and I have an English translation. Excuse me, and this also will answer your question why Moses' hand came out white. Okay.
All right, now
The
which
Mishnah,
are we reading?
I shared a screen. I just shared it again. It's called Safaria.org. It's a Mishnah.
you're talking about
First century.
now. I have it. You're talking about the Hebrew and English text that I have pulled up.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. Well, which number I get? Oh, I guess it's just one. Number.
It takes you straight to the page. Okay.
Oh, okay, I'll go ahead and read.
Hey, what was the site that you said?
I'll read it. I'll read
Okay.
it. It's in English. I'll narrate it because it needs explanation as well. We're talking about the very leprosy that Captain Tazaryach was mentioning.
As well, Captain. By the way, this is what I'm sending right now. There it is.
Okay, and we're talking about the spots that you get that makes you impure. That means that you need to leave the camp if you have these leprosy spots. So the Mishnah is talking about people's color. The bright spot of leprosy, right, in a German appears as dull white, and the dull white spot in Ethiopian appears as bright white. Rabbi Ishmael says, Rabbi Ishmael, rabbi, first century rabbi, he saw the second temple. Right? What does he say? The children of Israel, right? Bnei Israel, us. May I be atoned for them. It's a loving way of saying, oh, the people that I love so much are like boxwood. Okay, if you don't know what boxwood is, we can bring up a picture of boxwood. They make chess. The white wood in chessboard is boxwood. Neither black nor white, but of an intermediate shade. Okay, so he points out here that Jews, even though German and an Ethiopian can be Jews, because we're discussing leprosy in Germans and Ethiopians, white or black, right? What are we saying? We're saying that the children of Israel, the original ethnic group of Israel, are somewhere in the middle. We're brown. We're not black, not white. That's how we saw ourselves. And the pictures that I brought up, rabbis from the Middle East, rabbis from Europe, rabbis from Syria, we all look the same similar skin color. Few small differences from when converts joined us or when we were violated by our enemies. So that's my answer to you, Captain. All right. It does not mean and it doesn't mean that it's impossible for there to be Jewish communities of a darker color. It's been thousands of years since we left the land. It happens. People evolve. It's okay. It doesn't mean that it's impossible that some of the slaves may have been Jews. I don't know about it, but I'm willing to hear you. I get suspicious when you turn to me and tell me that I'm an imposter, because that's what makes me think that maybe there's something fishy here. All right, but I'm listening.
All right, now let him go ahead and respond, Captain.
Get my mic on. I appreciate it.
Uninterrupted response for everybody. That was good. All right,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Listen, Ralph, I'm fine. You know I'm fine. That's why I'm the champ. I'm good. Anyway. So, first, your listening skills are still terrible, because even though I brought up ruddy, I actually corrected it when I said even though that wasn't describing his complexion. If you actually paid attention, your wordplay is terrible. But being that you went into the word ruddy, this is the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, if everybody can see in here. It wasn't written by me or nobody from 1969. It was written by Merrill C. Tenney, general editor, or whoever that is. And when you look up the word ruddy, now, again, I said ruddy wasn't talking about David's skin. But even the red, if you look at a red cow, you know what color that red cow is? Brown. It's just a derivative of brown. So I was right when I said ruddy is a derivative of brown. So now ruddy in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, page 733. Ruddy, a word used to refer to a red or fair complexion in contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews. Why do I say that? There's a section in Israel called the African, what is it called? The African, when I was in Israel, I actually met the guy that was heading it. It's called the African Quarter, where he likes to make the claim that his people stayed in there. They also make the claim that they never left. Now, when you say you can change complexion, Eskimos are still brown skin, even though they're in the middle of Antarctica, probably get sun 2 hours out of the day. So just to correct you, I never said David was ruddy. If you actually listen to me, I said the ruddy wasn't describing his complexion, but you wanted to break that down. My response is, in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, like when we talk about laying claim, and I'm saying you're the imposter, and I'm saying we the Israelites. In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, can you explain how you fit the curses of that chapter? Ending with verse 68.
Only if you can read it in Hebrew for me.
No.
All right, now
this is
yeah,
not.
You got to read it in Hebrew. You claim to be Israelite. I want to hear you read Hebrew.
No, I don't have
That's
to.
the first test.
No,
I think I was proven enough when Ralph hit me up to actually do this debate. If you want to see me read Hebrew, you can go. You can go watch videos of Passovers where I sat up there and read. I believe Sinetta is still up there where I read the Hebrew. I
haven't seen it.
I don't have to prove again.
Which verse
the so-called white man.
Show me the verse.
So-called white man.
Show me the verse.
The so-called
white man. Show me the verse.
Man,
I'll explain to you. I'll explain to you how we.
I just want to answer his question first, and then I'll respond to that question. A black man always has to prove himself to a white man. And I will not have to do that just because I'm destroying you this evening. So now I'm talking about Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. You can pick one. So now, so let's start with Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Let's do that one.
Oh, let's start with Deuteronomy 28. Let me bring up my old Deuteronomy, my Hebrew Deuteronomy.
Yes.
All right.
Now, what you can do is you can do your greatest impersonation of me and read it in Hebrew.
I don't need to do an impersonation of you because I wouldn't insult my ancestral language.
Oh, so you don't
I
want,
wouldn't.
yeah. So
I don't
you don't
want to offend my language by butchering it the way you guys do. Right?
It sounds like you gonna butcher, so then
haven't-
you can't read it then.
I'll read it in Hebrew.
Oh, go ahead.
But
Do
not
your best. Do
correctly.
your best
I'm not
Tazaryach
scared to read my
impersonation, and you
language.
read it in Hebrew.
I'm not the one here that's scared
Yeah.
to read the Bible in Hebrew.
Mhm,
I
go
think
ahead.
if there's someone in this group that doesn't need to prove himself and therefore
Mhm.
insists on reading it in white man's
Right.
English, well, that says something about your claims to being original. But
Right.
I'll leave it to
Now
you.
wait, is this Deuteronomy 28? You said?
Yeah, 28 verse 68. That's correct.
Okay, I'll go ahead and pull it up in English on the screen. But yeah, go ahead.
Good.
All right, 68.
It's 28, right? 28.
Yeah,
Deuteronomy,
chapter 28 verse 68.
verse 68. Okay, all right. I'll scroll down some. Let's see here. There it is.
Turn
There
my
it
mic
is.
off for a second.
Okay, I'll see it.
All right. So the Deuteronomy in chapter 28 is a list of curses of things that might happen to the Jewish nation if we violate the covenant with God. Right. And the extensive list of curses, not every single one not every single one happened in the exact same way, but these did. All right, what does it say? Jews, if we're going to violate the covenant with God and we're going to worship idols, we're going to get defeated in wars. We're going to suffer starvation. We're going to reach levels where we're going to be sold into slavery, loaded on ships, and sold back to Egypt. All right, and our slavery. There'll be so many Jewish slaves that no one is going to buy it because there's going to be inflation of value of Jewish slaves, and that happens several times, both in the Old Testament as well as after the destruction of the temple. The first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians. They sold Jews into slavery all over the world. Okay, but that was nothing compared to the Romans, which you can see in Josephus and in other historians. The Romans sold Jews for slaves. They were being sold for the price of dinner in a nice restaurant. That's how many were sold, and they were loaded on ships. And many of them reached Egypt, and many of them reached not Europe, but let's say where Spain is today. All right, many of them were sold to Romans. Many of them were gladiators. And yes, we were sold into slaves as a result of violating our covenant with God, as the Torah says. And I'll read it for you in Hebrew since you didn't want to. Right? And what does it say? It says, "V'heshivcha Adonai Mitzrayim bo'oniyot b'derech asher amarti lecha lo tosif od lir'ota u'tmakartem sham lo'ivecha la'avadim u'l'shfachot ve'en koneh." And yeah, we read this all the time, and unfortunately, this happened. What's your question exactly?
Now wait, let me read that in English. Hold on, let me read that in English for the podcast gang. I'll read it here. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, as the verse in the King James version. Go ahead, Captain.
So
pretty accurate.
how do you fit Deuteronomy 28 and 68 was my question.
I just explained it.
No. What Deuteronomy 28 and 68 says, you shall see it no more again, talking about our homeland. Yet you lay claim to the homeland right now. So
where does it say? I'm sorry. Can you show me where in Deuteronomy it says we don't see the homeland?
First of all, you butchered. Now again, Ralph, I don't have that problem. He do. That's what I mean. You see how he interrupts.
It's
but
okay.
the minute I start, I don't care, Ralph. You know I don't. But the minute I start interrupting him, he gonna cry like the Syrian girl. We gonna call him Syrian girl tonight. He a Syrian too, so we gonna nickname him Syrian girl. I think I've nicknamed everybody on this show. What was the other guy? The Halsey Cost was the last guy, the last Jewish guy. So we're going to call him Syrian girl. I just nicknamed him. Halsey Cost, Syrian girl.
All right, okay.
So now, I'm going to go ahead. So now, first of all, you butchered your English version of the Hebrew because the scriptures don't say these might happen to you. That's not what the scriptures say. The scriptures say that all these curses shall come upon you. It didn't say some of them. It said...
No. Only if we violate the covenant.
And you did, and we did. We did violate the covenant. Why do you think? And this is what I mean when I don't think you really know the scriptures at all. You know we violated because I started off showing 2 Kings. Why did the northern kingdom even get kicked out of Israel if they didn't violate it? Why did Israel fall as a nation in 70 AD if they didn't violate it? Because when you read the first, when you read the
how
first,
did I not answer your question?
Because you asked me a question in the middle. So unlike you, I know how to battle. So I can hear your question in the middle. So I will answer your question as I'm finishing making my statement because I'm skilled at this. You're not. So when you read the first 15 verses, it's the blessings being above all nations, which we would have when we were winning. That's why we won when we went to get the land. So now when Deuteronomy 28 and 68, it said, ye shall be brought into Egypt again. That word Egypt, that name of that land is Mizraim or Tazaryach. We would say that in ancient Hebrew. The word Egypt means bondage. So when it says ye shall be brought into Egypt again, it's talking about being in bondage again. When it says ye shall...
But that happened, though. That happened to us.
It happened. Matter of fact, it happened before the transatlantic slave trade for sure.
Yeah,
This particular...
problem,
because this particular slavery said, ye shall not see it again, meaning our homeland. There's one race of people that claim to be Israel that are not allowed to live in Israel. And that's us, the real ones. All the imposters, because Israel is not just that Israeli state. It's bigger than that. It's Palestine. It's Iran, parts of what they today call Egypt. All of that is really Israel. And you notice he don't even bring up the tribe. But let me finish. And it said, you shall see it no more again. And it said, you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. There's only one race of people that face this curse right here. And that's the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in the transatlantic slave trade. When Christopher Columbus came over to America, was the start of the transatlantic slave trade. That was the start of this curse right here. And after he took the Native Indians, then he brought the blacks out of Africa and then brought them into slavery. And when it says no man shall buy you, meaning no one is going to redeem us from this, it would be the Most High. But who redeemed y'all? They had a World War II, a World War I, World War II, where they fought for your freedom. Because Hitler, because y'all wanted to be black. Now, I know you don't claim this part of white people, but I'm going to lump all y'all in just for this statement. Now, so Hitler said, oh, y'all want to be black. Let me stick them in the oven and show them what they really is to be black. And so the world fought for y'all. America fought for y'all. Britain fought for y'all. And then they divided Palestine in half in 1948. So if the scriptures say no man shall redeem you, but we know that a foreign nation redeemed y'all, how could you fit Deuteronomy 28 and 68?
I can explain that.
Please.
So, without any disrespect, you misquoted the verse in a few places, and it's obvious that you don't speak. You don't. I mean, you may be able to read Hebrew, and I appreciate that.
If I could, before I let you go.
Wait.
No, I just want to add one caveat. I said if I could. You don't have to let me. I'm asking you if I could.
I'd like to finish my statement.
No, it's going to go right along with this statement. I'm not changing the subject of what you're talking about. I just want to add to it. I want you to show.
I think it's only fair that we honor each other's time.
That's
okay, I'll let you do this. I'll let you interject, but make it short. Don't start at 20
it ain't
minutes.
even. It's just, all I want to do is when you answer the question, show how you went into that final captivity. No problem.
I will. So, first of all, like if you look at the pasuk or verse, and it doesn't say that you won't go back to your land. It says the context is wrong. The prophecy is saying you're going to go back into slavery to Egypt in a way that you thought won't happen again. In the sense that you left Egypt as slaves, you're going to go. Some of you, whatever, if you're going to violate the covenant, are going to go back as slaves, and that has happened both in the destruction of the first and the second temple. It does nothing to do with this transatlantic slave trade. That may or may not have anything to do with it. But if you want to know when this prophecy was fulfilled, it was fulfilled during the destruction of the first and second temple, where most of the males and a large number of the females of the Judeans and Israelites were sold into captivity. And to Egypt, among other places, which were big purchasers of slaves. That's my answer to you. Now, you said, oh, but it says they're not going to see their land. This doesn't say that in the verse at all. What the verse says, Lo tosif lir'ota, you won't see slavery again. You thought that you're done with the trauma of slavery because we're a nation of redeemed slaves. You're going to go back to slavery. And it's a very traumatic curse that Moses is telling the people will happen to them if they sin. And that's exactly what happened. All right. So it's nothing to do with you guys. I apologize that we can't fit you into this. I think that's my response to that. And where did it happen? In the year 70 of the Common Era, we were sold into slavery. We were sold into slavery after that during the Bar Kokhba rebellions, and we were sold into slavery during the Babylonian destruction of the temple. All right. So as far as I'm concerned, I've satisfied your need for a place where we were sold into slavery sufficiently. And I'm pointing out again that you misread in typical white Gentile fashion. You misread the text by thinking that lot tosif od lir'ota means you won't see the land again. It's not what it means. It means you won't see slavery again, right? Which that's all it means. But I'm hearing your response.
But Captain, we're going to take calls too. Get in there. We're on Odyssey. We can do what we want. Go ahead, Captain Tazaryach.
I appreciate it. You butchered the hell out of that verse. It don't say you shall not see this slavery again in Hebrew or English. It doesn't say that. It says thou shalt see it no more again. The whole reason you didn't explain.
What should you not see again?
What you won't see again is your land. That's why it says, thou shalt bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. This is the final. This is like, if you look at all the curses from verse 16 on down, this is the death blow to Israel. That's why you would have to show.
This is the whitest reading of the verse that I've ever seen, bro.
This the who reading? The who reading?
Is so fucking white.
You said
such a white reading.
White this is reading.
The whitest reading. If this is how a white Gentile who never spoke Hebrew in his life,
this was a white,
never read the Bible in its original would interpret it.
If this was a white,
for you.
If this was a white reading, I wouldn't fit this at all. This wouldn't say what it says. If this was a white reading, it wouldn't say you're gonna go into Egypt with ships, so that we would have a marker. Again, the Bible is the genetic marker for anybody laying claim. Take it off of you and I for a second. Anybody laying claim to be an Israelite, the Bible is our genetic marker. It's greater than
genetic marker?
I'm gonna explain. It's greater than history. It's greater than my word. It's greater than your word, because this is the word of the Lord. This is the one true living spiritual power that exists on the face of the planet. Nothing greater or anything like that. You won't get a better answer. Now, with that said, this is the death blow for the nation of Israel, meaning there was going to be a tragic event. Like, it's almost like we habitually broke God's law, and there was going to come a time where the Lord was going to get fed up with us habitually breaking it, and he would destroy us. And that's what this slavery was. And there's only one race of people that fits that. There's only one race of people. Excuse me. When I say one race, I'm being disingenuous to my people. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians today are the only people that fit not only this curse, but the curses that predate it. So when it says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee,
why isn't this the sale of
matter of
Judeans
fact,
into slavery
as a matter of fact, say again?
Why isn't it enough to say that the Jews or Israelites that were captured by Rome and Babylon and sold into slavery, that also was a fulfillment of the prophecy? Why does the fulfillment of the prophecy only apply to Africans being sold into slavery,
rewind it just a second what you just said. Say that one more time.
I said, the fact that the Israelites during the first 70 of the Common Era, and the Israelites during the Babylonian captivity were sold into slavery. Why is that not sufficient for you?
Okay, I'll
as
answer
a
that.
Fulfillment of the prophecy.
Okay, I got you. I'll answer that. Because y'all was redeemed by man. This just said, no man shall buy you. That buy you is redeemed. No man was going to be able to get you out of this condition. Just like
but you realize that buy doesn't mean redeem. Buy means to buy you as a slave.
No, it doesn't.
The slave market
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. When you say that, that's unlearned, because it says you shall be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So you can't be sold and nobody buy you at the same time.
Of course, that's exactly what happened.
No, it's not.
You're on the market and no one's buying.
I tell you what, for you guys, for you imposters and your version of history, That's probably what happened. But we were sold for bondmen and bondwomen. We were put on auction blocks. Give me 5, give me 25, give me 35. Got a strong young black buck right here. We were sold just like this. And so when it says for bondmen and so I'm sorry, let me answer your question. You said, why couldn't that fit y'all? Because y'all was redeemed by a man. Y'all didn't free yourself. Y'all didn't free yourself. Y'all didn't free yourselves. When you read in the Old Testament, the Lord says, as I delivered y'all out of Egypt, I'll deliver y'all out of here again. So now, the same way they was redeemed out of Egypt was not with the assistance of a man. Even when Hezekiah tried to get help from, what's the king? Tahaka. Even when Hezekiah tried to get help from Tahaka, the Lord checked him on that and said, why you go to them when you come to me for your redemption? But the Americans fought for y'all. The British
but the
fought
Americans
for y'all.
didn't exist during the Second Temple.
I'm not talking about the slavery. You asked. You said what? I got your response. You said, why wasn't that good enough? This is why I said your battling skills is terrible. You need to learn to listen.
Don't make this personal. Don't make this personal. I'm not
making it personal. I'm trying to help you. All I'm trying to do. Here's what I'm trying to do, young man. All I'm trying to do is help you. I'm trying to help you battle. And the way that you battle is you pay attention to what your opponent is saying. So you asked me, why isn't that good enough? And I said, because you were redeemed. I said you were redeemed by a man, and this says
Which man redeemed us? Which man redeemed us? The British, Second Temple period, Jews are in slavery. Who redeemed us?
Are you in the land of Israel right now?
But we're not talking about now. We're talking about the period of slavery.
Okay, this doesn't make sense to you what I'm saying. So I'm going to try to dumb it down for kindergartens, right?
Please try. Yeah.
No problem. Let's say if what you say about your people, I'm going to take it off of me being an Israelite. I'm going to make you the Israelite for a change. So now, let's say your people were enslaved in 2nd century AD, right?
Yeah.
And then now you're in Israel right now, right?
Yeah.
The scriptures say the Lord would do that. The Lord would reestablish the tribes of Israel.
Oh, okay. I can explain that. Yeah.
So stop. The scripture did not say another nation would do it, because then you're going to give that nation the credit. Like, you can't even take the credit for the state of Israel right now. You have to give it to who funds you. The Americans take credit for y'all. They fund y'all at $3.4 billion a year. They're the reason your military is so great. The British fund y'all. The Lord don't fund y'all. The Lord don't watch over y'all. The Lord is the reason why there's chaos in the Middle East. The Lord don't fund y'all at all.
Right. He's saying that it's cursed land, basically, over there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so I can respond to those whenever you're ready.
And then,
I'm sorry. Let him get in.
Okay, go ahead. No problem.
No, you can whenever you're done. I don't have to get in.
Go ahead.
All right, so let me ask you a question. You believe in God, right?
Absolutely.
All right. If you get sick, God forbid, right? Or your daughter, let's say, is not feeling well, and you go and you're really worried about her health, right? And you go to the doctor, and you get medicine, and she gets cured. She feels better. Are you going to say that your doctor did it, or are you going to say that the Lord healed your daughter?
Depending on the condition, I always give credit to the Most High, especially in healing or anything like that. That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a neighborhood fight with some people who are trying to hurt you, and the odds are stacked against you, right? And you come out on top and you win. Captain, you hear me? You with me, Captain?
Yeah, I'm with you.
If odds are stacked against you and you win a war, are you going to say that you won, or are you going to say that God delivered your enemies into your hands?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Let me know when you're available.
No, go ahead. I'm listening right now. I didn't want to interrupt you, so I had him turn my mic off, but go ahead.
Shut up. If you have a conflict, bro.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
All right. If you have a conflict, a war with someone, and the odds are stacked against you, you're outnumbered 10-1, and you win anyway, right? Would you say that you won because you have strong muscles and good weapons, or are you going to say that the Lord delivered your enemies into your hands? Which one would you choose?
I'm always going to say the Lord delivered me from my enemies.
Thank you. So would we. That's what we say all the time. Regarding the creation of Israel, we were outnumbered 10-1. The United States voted against. At the beginning, they were against. They didn't support us financially. There was an arms embargo. All the weapons we got to fight off the Arabs that outnumbered us 10-1, we we stole, borrowed. Jews from all over the world invested money, training, and effort into the new military of Israel. And we consider it a miracle that we came back to our land, as the prophets all predicted, that we will miraculously come back to our land. As far as we're concerned, the military victory of 48 is a fulfillment of prophecy. Not only is it a fulfillment of prophecy because the victory was a miracle, the fact that people came from the Holocaust emaciated, sick, and they managed to form an effective military without any help from the outside world. We only got help later when the United States saw that we're a strong presence in the Middle East and we're more stable than all of the Arab states. They decided to bet on us. And that was a good bet that they made. They have good military bases here because of us. I think it's a good bet. But they chose us because we were strong. We're not strong because they chose us. That's the answer. And we definitely see it as a miracle from God. And we thank God every day for this miracle. And I'm incredibly privileged to live in the land of my ancestors. And I believe that it's from God and it's not from man. The fact that men were involved and put their life on the line to make it happen does not take away from the miraculousness of our return. Okay?
Okay, so now I'm going to respond with scriptures, because I think that's the only thing you can respond with. So you made a statement, all of them coming to help you. You know who gets the credit for that? The Americans.
God.
No.
But Americans in 48, there was no Americans.
He don't.
In 48, Americans.
Listen, they had a whole world war. They fought against, you guys were getting persecuted and destroyed by Hitler. All of y'all.
But that has nothing to do with World War II. They didn't stop the killing of Jews. The Jews were being killed until the last months of the war. Nobody was trying to stop the killing of Jews. They were trying to stop the expansion of it.
I'll let you do your whole
You're making a revision of history here.
I'm not making a revision of history. I'll let you do your whole little diatribe about who you give credit to. You give credit to the Lord or to the doctor. I listen to all that shit. So now, in the book of Judges, this is what I mean. The verse didn't say. The verse clearly said, no man shall redeem you. Said the Lord would redeem you. The Lord never used another nation to free his people. The Lord tore them other nations up. I'm going to read a few scriptures. In Micah 4:3, it says, and he shall judge among the people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, and that nation shall not lift a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. This is Micah 4:3. If that was of the Lord putting y'all in that land, y'all wouldn't have to still keep fighting and keep getting funded from another nation. When Israel was rolling with the Most High, they never needed help from another nation, period. That's why I brought up Hezekiah and Tazaryach. Hezekiah wanted to use Tazaryach. The Lord checked him on it. Now, when you talk about numbers, because that's what y'all had nations fighting for y'all. In Judges, the 7th chapter, in the 5th verse, it says, so he brought him down to the water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shall thou set by thyself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped put their hand to drink were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by 300 men that lapped will I save you. Those 300 men was all Israelites, and they went out and won the war. And you know what they would know? Just that analogy that you gave. That it was the Lord that did it, because there's no way that 300 men should win that war unless the Lord was with them. He never said in the future, I'm going to have these other nations fight for you. That's not what he said.
Yeah, but we don't think anyone fought for us. That's
they did fight for y'all.
No one fought for
That's
us.
not
World
revision.
War II had nothing to do with us. World War II was a fight between European powers.
That's not.
Germany was trying to control
European.
Europe, and the UK wanted
Listen,
to stop.
the Ashkenazi was persecuting them Germans over there, taking advantage, and Hitler and them had enough. And they fought against y'all. And the Jewish people in America, and the Jewish people in America, no,
they were sick and tired of Jews, right? They weren't sick and tired of y'all.
No, they didn't call y'all the Jews.
Yes, they did.
No, they did not. They called y'all the imposters. Look on my screen. When you look on my screen, this is an excellent book called The Nazis World War II. This is an excellent book. They called y'all the bastard. That's what they called y'all. When y'all look at this book I got right here with the Hitlers, they showed the Orientals. They showed the Orientals. They showed the Negroes. They showed the Borders, and they showed the Hamites. What they got here? That hook nose. They call him the bastard. That's what they call them.
But they still say
they didn't call y'all. They didn't call y'all the Jews. They called y'all. They called y'all. Yeah.
Genius.
The imposter. The bastard. The bastard. That's
what
you.
What does it say to the left?
That's you.
You
the bastard.
Y'all
are not. Listen, I can't help. Listen, I can't help it. I can't help. Listen, I can't help it.
Put it back up. Put it back up.
I can't help it.
I happen to speak German.
I can't help it that that word is bastard, and it's right next to you.
No, but it says the Jew is the bastard. That's what it says.
Because why is it saying the bastard? Meaning you're not the son. That's what it's saying. You have no connection to those people. This is what I mean. That's what Hitler's saying. And so because they was willing
would Hitler agree?
Because they was
willing
willing
that
to
Hitler doesn't call us Jews?
Wait.
Are you saying that Hitler won't
he
call
called
us Jews?
y'all the bastard.
Okay, can you put the page back up again? Hold the page back up to the camera.
Back up, to be fair,
put it back
no
up.
Problem.
Put it back up. I want to quote the page. All right, anyone over here who speaks German, all right, is welcome to take a good look at the page.
All you got to do is look at the same page.
Same page.
Jude et in bastard. That's what it says. I know Ralph loves this page right here.
So
I know Ralph loves
or are we not the Jew?
No, because if you were the Jew, he wouldn't call you a bastard.
By the way, the camera went out. I can't.
The camera went out.
He's saying the Jew is a bastard. That's what he's saying.
Right, I know. Listen.
Oh, you know now.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Just let me finish uninterrupted for a second. I know that it says the Jew is the bastard. The reason why he's calling you the bastard is because he's saying you don't have no connection to us, the people above. The Negro above. I'm not interpreting it. There's no reason to call him a bastard. Listen, the scriptures say a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. A bastard is someone that's not on there. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
And that's what you guys are. I can't help it. And so to get back to my point, it said no. I just want to finish. I just want to finish. I appreciate it. To get back to my point, if that was divine intervention, it wouldn't be another nation helping you. It would be the Lord only helping you. There wouldn't be no fighting. You wouldn't have to divide Palestine in half. It's all Israel. You wouldn't compromise. The Lord never said compromise to get the land. Even when you go, when Moses and Joshua and all of them was going to take that land, it didn't say, hey man, just take a corner of Canaan and leave Canaan to a couple of the Canaanites.
Didn't King Solomon give a few cities to King Hiram?
It didn't say.
King Solomon give a few cities to King Hiram?
You're talking about something after rulership. I'm talking about when you take a land. When he told them to take that land, he didn't say compromise.
You're saying territorial compromise doesn't exist in the Bible. I'm pointing out just one place where it does. Territorial compromise doesn't exist.
No, you're not pointing out my point. What you like to do, and maybe this because you're used to debating women, what you like to do is throw people off with the sidebar. Because I know how to battle, I know how to stay right in focus. So if that was divine, if that was divine, and let me tell you something, if that was divine, if that was divine, Palestine would not have been divided in half. Y'all would have took all of Palestine and the rest of Israel. Then you could tell me the Lord did it. The Lord don't compromise.
Now, Judas, and then we're going to take some calls. I want to make sure we get a few calls in.
Well, we can start taking the calls now if you want.
I'll make a short response. And,
short response.
Okay, short response. Right. He needs some help. Get him some water, something.
So,
that tea. You might want to get you some coffee or something with that.
What was that?
I said you might want to get you some coffee instead of tea. Wake up a little bit.
I started with coffee and now it's tea. All right, listen. If you were such a great debater, bro, you wouldn't have to keep saying I'm a great debater. All right. 2, I'm not really trying to defeat you in a debate. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to have a dialogue with you. And here's one point I'll bring up. Was King Solomon's reign divinely ordained?
King Solomon's reign was the succession of his father. So
correct. So that's a legitimate reign, right?
Yeah, legitimate reign. That's correct.
Okay. Now, if you look at even in your white person's Gentile English translation,
he wasn't white, but
if you look at Kings 1:9-11, right? No pun intended.
First Kings and Second Kings.
First Kings 1, 9, 11, chapter 9, verse 11. King Solomon gives 20 towns into Galilee to Hiram, the king of Tyre, because Hiram had supplied him with cedar and juniper and gold that he needed for the temple.
Right.
So territorial compromise is not something that doesn't exist in our history. It's not something that doesn't exist in the Bible. It doesn't mean I want to give the Palestinians anything. I'm right wing. I don't want to give them nothing. But if we made a final agreement and we had to make deal with and give them a few cities and live at peace with them, I would be fine with that. If they really wanted peaceful coexistence, I would be okay with that. But that's a side point. I don't think that that's a real argument that if it was from the Lord, then you can't have compromise. King Solomon was willing to compromise. The second point I want to make out to you is that as someone who, I think you do spend a lot of time reading the Tanakh, I mean, at least in the Goy English translation. And I think that you could recognize that throughout our period, the Israelite period, most of the time we were not following the covenant with God. We were not really monotheists. We were worshiping idols. We were corrupt. Even in the time of King Solomon, corruption began in Rehoboam and in the following kings, right? There was a lot of corruption, a lot of idolatry. And therefore, when the covenant is broken, bad things happen. Israel today is still the same Israel that was back then. And unfortunately, as of today, Israel is still not really following the covenant. I'm not going to pretend that the state that I live in is following our ancient covenant with God. I agree with you that we're not, and I agree that we should. I don't agree that we're imposters. All right? It doesn't mean that you're an imposter. I didn't see any evidence yet, but if you produced actual evidence that you're one of us, you'd be accepted as a brother. But as long as you sit there in the streets with your gay satin robes and performative symbols and insignia and yell in the street that we're not who we've always been and you're the real us while reading from English translations and mispronouncing Hebrew, it's hard to take you seriously. I'm trying. I'm giving you a chance. So far, I have not seen any evidence. What I've seen is a claim. Yeah, a claim made by you guys. You need an identity. You've chosen our nation. You're not the first group of people to choose the Jews as an adopted identity and then to claim that we're the fake Jews. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. And I'm yet to be convinced.
All right, now let me. I got a couple questions. Then we're gonna take calls.
I'm listening. I'm getting more.
I was told to ask this: who is Esau, and what will happen to them? For both of you, I was told. What about that, Captain?
I think you need to get some water. So for us, Esau is I'll read it from the Bible dictionary. So Esau is what today would be the Caucasian race or the Europeans or the so-called white man. So there's 2 points of to note. Esau's name was changed to Edom, and so I'll read the Bible dictionary of what will befall him in the end time, so nobody won't think I'm wishing any evil to happen to these people. So now Edom, and when you read the book definition of Edom, which is Esau, so I'm gonna start in the beginning. So it says Edom, Edomites. It says the nation and its people who were descendants of Esau, which is the white man that exists today. And at the end of it, it says Edom figures predominantly in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from God. So she's the one race of people that won't get any mercy from God. But that's the white person. Like we say so-called white man because really by race or nationality, they would be what you would call Edomites or Esau. So that's the white man today.
Now, what would you say to that, Judas?
Esau was the brother of Jacob, right? I don't think it's white. I don't think it's genetically the white man. I think that the white man is the Europeans, and Esau were basically our cousins. So they looked sort of like us, the Idumeans. Were Esau. Some Arabs are probably descended from Esau. The prophecy of the downfall of Esau, as far as I'm concerned, has already been fulfilled in the Second Temple when the kings, the Hasmonean kings, conquered Edom and enslaved some of them and converted most of them to Judaism. In fact, King Herod was an Edomite, right? Idumean. It's literally an Edomite. Today, I know that some Jews, as well as many of you guys, try to transpose the concept of Esau as an idea onto the Catholics or onto white people or onto Romans. I don't buy into any of that. I'm a practical guy. I don't need to recreate ancient biblical curses and transpose it into new people. As far as I'm concerned, the prophecy of Esau being defeated and subdued has already happened, and now we're in the age of Israel in the Middle East. We're the superpower of the Middle East, and Esau is nowhere to be found. They've been subdued.
All right, now I also have this. Now there's a verse here. Ask who this verse is describing. I'll start with you, Captain. I'm going to read the New International Version because it's just
Okay.
They said, "For the Lord your God will bless you as He has promised, and you will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none."
What verse is that?
This is Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 6.
Deuteronomy 28, verse what?
No, chapter 15, verse 6.
15, verse 6. It says, "For the Lord thy God."
Yeah, for the
Chapter
Lord.
what? Which chapter what?
Chapter 15, verse 6.
Which book?
Deuteronomy.
No, it says, "And the Lord thy God blesseth thee as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee." What this is talking about is when Israel, in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, or even in this chapter, what this is simply just saying is that when we're in our state of power, we'll be the ones that's helping other nations, I guess, build themselves primarily through the law. Like a precept for this would be like Isaiah 2:1 when it says, "Many nations shall come up and say, let's worship the Lord." And then the latter part when it says, "And they shall reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee." That's us having a ruling authority. Like there is no nation that we would report to. Every nation will report to us. It's about having dominance and being above all nations. That's what it's talking about.
All right. Now, what about you, Judas?
I actually don't disagree. That's pretty much what the prophecy is saying. That's the one verse that Captain Tazaryach got correct.
Wow, we just had an area of agreement. All right, let's take some callers. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming. I'm kind of.
When he's right, he's right. Yeah.
I've been right all night.
By the way, I brought in that guy, and he's got his TV on or something.
Yeah, I heard the music in the background. You gotta tell him to mute it.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's got going on. He's got to go though. Walrus, go ahead. You're on the kill stream, sir. Oh, you know what? I know what it was. That was my fault. I'll bring him back in a second. They couldn't hear me because I was muted in Discord. Go ahead, Walrus. Sir, hello.
Yes, hello.
Speak.
Yeah, sorry. I was having trouble between the stream and everything that's going on. I hope you're doing well, Ralph.
I am. What do you got for these guys?
So I've heard a lot of discussion about who are and are not the real Jews. And I have a quick question for you. Judas Maccabeus, my question for you is this. The Pharisees offered Christ unto his and said that his blood would be upon them and upon their children. Why is there any discussion of who is saved by their blood when it is offered that one is saved by their faith through Jesus Christ, who is the Messiah, who died, was crucified, and rose from the dead to the glory of God our King?
Maccabeus.
Can you summarize the question? Because I'm not sure I understood you correctly. I don't want to answer the wrong question. Can you repeat that?
My answer to you, my question to you is this: I'm a Christian.
We couldn't tell.
Idea, yeah, just
Why
about
does
something came.
Honor and serve him. Why are you spending all this time arguing about who is the rightful blood of Abraham when you aren't saved by your blood? You were saved through the faith in Jesus Christ.
So I really appreciate that question. I really appreciate the question, and it would take me. I can answer the question, but it'll take a couple of minutes, and I don't know if Ralph wants to give me a few minutes for this one question.
Sure.
Ralph. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what's your name again, sir?
Walrus Aurelius, sir.
Loris Aurelius. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you, and this is something that maybe even the captain might agree with, to our pre-Christian notion of the Messiah and of faith. And if you understood how we viewed faith and how we viewed Messiah, you would understand why we reject Jesus Christ as the Messiah. Okay? And it doesn't mean that we're right, but I'm showing you how we view it.
I don't reject Christ.
No, but as a Messiah, you think he was the Messiah?
Yeah, he was. That's the king of Israel right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I disagree with all of you again. So my explanation is as follows, Aurelius, that faith is in God alone. And faith in God, the God of Israel, is an angry, jealous God. He doesn't allow us to worship anything else or anybody else. The worship of any intermediary between us and God, in the traditional Hebrew sense, was viewed as idolatry. So if some Jewish rabbi comes and says, yeah, we believe in God, but I'm the only path to God, even if he offers us miracles and even if he does all sorts of tricks and whatnot, we get very suspicious when somebody claims to be the focal point of worship. If we need to pray to them or pray to saints or pray to angels, we Jews have always rejected any idea from Jews or from Gentiles of people claiming to be an intermediary between us and God. I'm not asking you to convince me otherwise. I'm just introducing you to how we see faith. To us, that's the cornerstone of all faith. Now, regarding the Messiah, for us, the Messiah is not magic Superman that comes down from heaven and tells us that he's Messiah. For us, and our understanding of Hebrew scripture, as we've been reading it for thousands of years, in order for one to be the Messiah, he needs to fulfill a certain checklist of things. Among them, rebuilding the temple, returning the exiles, defeating our enemies, bringing peace and love into the world. If he doesn't do those things in the checklist, all of them, then he can claim to be the Messiah, but we're not required to believe in him. Faith in him would be against faith in God. If Jesus, see, I'm not even talking about Jesus, but think of Jesus as a paradigm. It doesn't make a difference if it's Jesus or some other Jewish guy, right? If somebody comes and claims to be the Messiah, we're going to be suspicious right away. First, did you rebuild the temple? Did you defeat the enemies of Israel? Are you a leader? Oh, you're not? So when you do those things, you can come back and make a claim. It's a fulfillment of a prophetic checklist. That's all it does. And that's why we've never accepted Jesus as the Messiah. And we don't accept anybody who wants us to change the law, to not follow the Torah. And that's why faith to us is not faith in Jesus, but only to God alone.
Hey, can I respond to that?
But did I answer your question, Aurelius?
Well, I would like for Captain Tazaryach to offer his response before
I appreciate that.
All right,
So
Walrus, I'm gonna have to move on. I'm not gonna.
Mine's won't be as long. I don't know if you want to have him listen online or whatever.
Well, go ahead. I'll let him stay. I'll let him get a quick response.
Yeah, no sweat. When everything he said is the proof that they're false because they're living in a land that they say was divine, but when you compare it to the scriptures, it doesn't match. When he also said that they don't worship, when he also said that they don't worship a man, that's also a lie. When you go to 1 Chronicles 29:20, it says, and David said to all the congregation, now bless the Lord your God. And all the congregation blessed the Lord their God of their fathers and bowed down their heads and worshiped the Lord and the King. That's in your book. Second thing, when Moses was given, when the 10 Commandments was being said,
which verse is that? Which verse?
1 Chronicles 29:20. They worship the Lord and the King. So you're a liar. The second thing, didn't worship the King. It says they worship the Lord and the King. That's what it says.
Pull it up.
I didn't interrupt you when you gave that whack. I didn't interrupt you when you gave your whack diatribe. This is what I mean. So anyway, so now also we listen that before Christ came, we listened to a man. We did everything according to the mouth of Moses. Why? Because the Lord was speaking to all the children of Israel when he was giving the 10 Commandments. And as they see in the thunder and lightnings, what did the people say? Moses, you go talk to the Most High and we'll listen to you. So to say that we don't listen to a man to go to the Most High, that's a lie. Because everything we do that comes out of this book is from a man, including Christ. And when Christ reigns as king, every knee shall bow. There won't be a knee up on the planet Earth. Every knee will bow to our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Just to answer your question.
Let's add one thing.
Yeah.
Just real quick too, right? He wants to turn around and say as to why they don't follow Christ. This is the real reason why they don't follow Christ, because they're following the Ashkenaz tradition that was started in 740 AD when the Khazarian Empire, who they descend from, converted. You understand? So now, once again, when some chieftain Khazars discovered Judaism, they were intelligent enough to perceive that it was in some ways the parent religion of both Christianity and Islam. Judaism presented a solution to the Khazarian geopolitical problems, meaning what? By them being able to deny the New Testament and the Quran, they would have to stay away from Byzantium, which was a Christian empire, and away from the Quran and the Muslims, so they could maintain a state of neutrality. They deny Christ because that's the traditions that the Ashkenaz started.
That's the answer.
Now, Walrus, thank you, man. Real quick, you got something to say real quick?
All I was going to say is a final question is, if this is the case, if the Jewish people have been so reticent to affirm a man as the Messiah by the ideas that Judas put forth, why is it that there were a number of men who claimed to be the Messiah the Jewish people readily followed, which ultimately led to the destruction of the Second Temple by the Roman Empire?
That's a good question.
And they followed them in mass revolt and mass slaughter of Roman citizens in order to attempt to fulfill this, and got fucking rocked.
Okay, so that's a
point.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I can respond. So there's one there.
You always think you.
Ralph, I'll respond. When we had one incident like that, where you had a name Simon Bar Kokhba, who was a Judean hillsman. There's depictions of him, by the way, on different mosaics. Captain Tazaryach, guess what complexion he is?
I don't know,
right?
Man.
You knew
gonna lie about it.
This guy, he didn't claim he was Messiah. You know what he did? He claimed that he can defeat Rome, and he wiped out like 2 legions that were stationed in Israel at the time, and many people thought, okay, if he can defeat Rome, then maybe he's going to be the Messiah. But they didn't look at it the way pagans look at it. Oh, this guy's magic came down from God. They looked at him as a military leader that has military potential to defeat Rome. When he lost the war and got slaughtered, right, they said, okay, apparently he's not the Messiah. So that's just what it is. That's how we always viewed it. Now, you can be butthurt that we don't accept your modern, like, Gentile interpretation of our Hebrew scriptures, but we're not bound by it. We don't have to follow your interpretation. We have our ancient interpretation. We don't go along with fake. We want.
If I could dumb that down, if I could even make it simpler for everybody, Moses was a Messiah. Joshua was a Messiah. A Savior is always, like the scripture, the Lord said, I am the Lord thy God, there is no God beside me. Part of the reason why this guy on the Judas, whatever his name is, the reason why he feels that way is because when people think of Jesus Christ, they think of the lies that the Roman Catholic Church teaches. They teach that he's God. They teach that Immaculate Conception, that Joseph didn't have sex with Mary when Joseph did have sex with Mary. So I can understand why he ignorantly believes the way that he does. But Moses saved Israel. In the book of Obadiah, it says, and Savior shall come upon the Mount of Zion to judge the Mount of Esau. So a Savior, which is what Messiah is, Messiah, Savior, anointed.
What does Messiah mean? Anointed, right?
That's what I just said.
Anybody who's anointed is Messiah for that term, but not the prophesized Messiah.
No, what the point that I'm trying to make is that the Lord in Obadiah 1:21 says, and Savior shall come, Christ being a Savior, the Savior. But it's not uncommon, because Moses was a Savior too. When Moses parted that Red Sea, and to say you don't follow a man, everything you do is from his mouth. You didn't get it from God. You got it from Moses.
We were present at the revelation.
No, you wasn't. You wasn't present because I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Wait. Let me correct myself. You was present for the first.
You could do that a lot.
No problem. The first 10 commandments. The first 10 commandments was said in front of everyone, but then the rest of them was only said to Moses.
Correct.
And they didn't hear it, because while they was up in the mountain, what was we doing? Making the golden calf to go back to it. To go back. So,
we trusted Moses to bring the law, but it wasn't because of Moses.
We didn't trust Moses.
It was the God.
We did not trust Moses, because if we did, we'd have waited for him. You are not them people. That's why you don't even know how to talk. Because if you knew how to talk, you would know we did not trust Moses. Because in the story, Moses was up there so long, we said we don't know what happened to Moses. Let's build this calf and go back to Egypt. That's what they said.
Was that us or was that you?
That was us.
You built
That
the
is
boat.
not you.
So you
That's
didn't
my
accept
ancestors.
the covenant.
That's
Your
my
ancestors,
people.
not mine. Not
You were the
mine.
ones trying to be
Okay,
me.
so let's have a conversation. In
Well,
the
I thought we
language
was taking
of
calls.
your ancestors.
No.
I'm
I
willing
was
to have a
responding.
conversation
I was
with you. Can
responding
you do
to the
that?
conversation of the caller. I believe Ralph has calls on. I done already smacked you up. We can take calls now.
I challenge you any day to have a conversation with me in our ancient.
We can always
language.
come
You claim
back.
to be Hebrew.
We can well. See that whole proven thing.
Yeah, this guy's a
Not
Like
proven.
that-
I'm
like
willing
that
to
whole-
do that.
that
Two
whole
friendly
pro- that
Judeans.
whole
You claim
proven
to be
thing-
Israelite.
that
I am
whole-
an Israelite.
that whole
Let's
pro-
talk in the Israelite language.
The language, speaking of language, is not going to prove either one of us is an Israelite. And this is a tactic that white people do to black people to try to think that they're superior. But you
I thought
can't.
you're not black. I thought you're Israelite.
I also said black is a blanket term, just like Hebrew Israelite. You got to learn how to battle. You got to learn how to battle, young man. I can teach you.
Apparently, you need to
I
learn
can teach
Hebrew.
you.
I can teach you that.
I know Hebrew.
Well,
I
why
just
wouldn't you
know
speak
how to
Hebrew?
be superior
The
because
Beriti Bivrit.
because what
As
white
going to
people
the
like to
Bivrit.
do is make
Mani
us.
Amelach
That's
Hashem.
what you started when you said the guy from Harlem, because you don't respect niggas that know stuff. But I know
No,
shit, and I don't have
but
to prove. I don't have to prove my criteria. My criteria is that I'm the only one that accurately broke scriptures down. That's why I pulled them all. I pulled how they worship the Lord and the King. I can give you the Hebrew word. It's not a. What is like English? Okay, now here's how I'll cut you in that. The Lord said in Isaiah, "In another tongue will I speak to my people." So whether I speak English, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, or whatever, the Lord prophesied because we would be scattered that I would have to speak in a different language. You don't even know that. How do you not know? How do you not? So like, let's say if I spoke Hebrew, Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Allah Haya Nawa Yahweh Akkad. Asha Ayan. Now let's say if I spoke Hebrew, now what? I would have to stop your mouth. I would have to translate what I just said. So because the scripture said, "In another tongue will I speak to my people," I don't have to justify myself to you. My dominance and superiority is the information. That's my dominance and superiority on this call.
It's just very ironic that you filter it all through the white man's language and you're scared to speak.
All right, what language are you talking right now?
I
I don't know what that Yiddish that you speaking. That's not Hebrew.
Because you don't know Hebrew.
No, that's Yiddish.
Because you don't know
that's
Hebrew.
Yiddish. That's from
That's
Germany.
Why. Even the German postcard that you brought up, you
13 tribe.
didn't understand.
No, it's in the
I
13
speak both
tribe, the
English,
Yiddish, right?
German,
that's in Yiddish?
Hebrew, and
Give me that.
Aramaic.
No.
You speak Ebonics.
No,
That's
even
the
to say,
difference.
even
You
to say you
can't
speak
teach
in
the
German,
Bible
even
in
to say
Ebonics.
you
It's
speak
not
in
gonna
German
work.
Hebrew is not the real Hebrew. What I said,
I did not
what
speak
I
Hebrew.
said, what I said when I spoke ancient Hebrew,
Biblical Hebrew.
I spoke biblical Hebrew when I said what I said. When I spoke Hebrew, that's real Hebrew. I just
That's
spoke
real
it.
Hebrew?
Yes, I
That's
just
amazing.
spoke it. When I gave the Hebrew credo, when I said the beginning of Psalms 121, that's real Hebrew. You just did some, you might as well say gefilte fish or whatever that bull crap is. When you read, and I get that from this book here. Y'all got that from Russia, from Poland. Like your language. That's why I remember that white woman, Helen Thomas. That woman was in office since the 20s or something like that. And when she told y'all to go back home, back to Poland and Russia, they fired her because everybody know y'all the imposters, that you're not the real Jew. Now we can take some more calls, Ralph. I ain't got much more time. We can take some more calls
and yell in the streets how we're the real Jews.
Listen, none of that. Everything that you said, you're still not a Jew.
Waving swords.
I can have a sword. I can have my headpiece on that I got right now. I can have my shield of David. You still ain't a Jew.
You think if you were really Jewish, you would need to do all this performative bullshit?
What performative bullshit? You have not proven anything on this call. Nothing.
I don't need to prove who I am. I've been who I am for thousands of years.
Then what you come here for asking?
You've discovered this identity in the last 50 years.
And that's because you're right. I just discovered who I was. And that's because bastards like you took it from me. And so now we make it our mission to take it back from you. Yes, you are. Yeah. Yes, you are, because you're the fathers of the transatlantic slave trade. The so-called Jew is the one that funded the slavery that separated me from my ancestors to where we have to struggle with being called black, Negro, nigger, spick, wetback,
You were sold
Mexican.
by other Africans.
No, we was not. I'm not African.
Africans were enslaved.
I'm not African. Every dark-skinned person is not the same.
Identity.
East Indians have skin color too. You know, they're not African either. Every dark-skinned race is not African.
Yeah, but you're not East
They're
Indian.
not. I'm the only Israelite on this call. You're not.
Okay.
What tribe you from? What tribe you from?
Yehuda.
No, you're not. No,
You're not.
I am. Where's the tribe of Ephraim at? Where's the tribe?
Need to dress up.
Where's the tribe
you
of
need
Ephraim
to dress
at?
up so ridiculous.
Hey, where's the
Look
tribe
at
of Ephraim at? Where's the tribe of Ephraim? Where's the tribe of Manasseh?
Afghanistan. Look,
No, they're
most
not.
of
You
these
don't know
guys
where
are
they at.
Pashtuns
You
in
don't
Afghanistan.
even know where they
Neither
at.
do you.
You don't know
Well,
where they
you're
at.
gonna say that they're Indians from like the Plains Indians. That's ridiculous. At least I'm not. At least we're allowed to have lost tribes.
You don't know.
That doesn't mean that your claim is correct. The fact that they're lost tribes, as the biblical text tells us, and as all the historians tell us, does not mean that you are the lost tribe.
I am.
Okay.
I am. I'm the only tribe on this call.
Okay.
You the 13th tribe, like Arthur Koestler said. If
I've
y'all
not
are
seen any
are the so-called Jew, there must be 13 tribes.
The Khazar theory has been debunked like 10 years ago.
The Khazar
There's
theory is legit.
Prove that it doesn't exist.
Genetic.
Secondly,
So you want us
one
to
has
trust
been
the white?
debunked.
So the white man is the devil, but he gonna get the DNA right.
Okay, so
Are you
we
kidding
fake
me?
the DNA tests. Look,
Why would I trust? So I got to go to a lab. So the white man took my identity, but he gonna give me my identity back. That's an oxymoron right there.
you have
He took my identity from me.
Pictures of Jews going back 2,000
Pictures.
years.
You ever
And they
heard of the
look like me.
Renaissance
They don't
era?
look like
They
you.
do not look like you
We
at all.
posted it in the group.
They don't look
We
like
have
you.
the
Showed
Hukok
pictures of your
painting.
grandfather. That's what you
No,
showed.
I showed mosaics.
No.
Ralph, did you pull up the pictures of the mosaics?
I did.
I
pull
would
up
probably
the
have to. I would probably have to
uh,
see them again because we
Mosaics,
do know the
first
white.
century.
We do know the, as I've read, the Jewish man in the educational system manipulated it all. Nobody even knows that the Jewish people, unless you really go into history, nobody even knows that the Jewish man is the one that funded the transatlantic slave trade. That's how insurance companies started. The Jewish man is the true devil on the face of the planet Earth, and that's where you come from. We can take the next caller now.
I did make the right call putting this on Odyssey, I think. All right, now let me read these.
You did, Ralph. You sure did.
K. Max McDonald says, for both, do you accept Judaism as both an ethnicity and a religion, or you feel it is one more or the other? And then it says, what determines being Jewish to you? DNA, just faith and beliefs. I'll start with you, Judas, and then I'll let you get in there, Captain. Go ahead.
The question is Judaism a faith or ethnicity? Judaism is a covenant between a group of people and God. Okay, anybody who subscribes to that covenant can join. There's a little ceremony you got to do, and then you join. Or if you're born into it, you don't need to do the ceremony, but you're still required to follow the laws. All right, that's how I see Judaism.
Give me that same page when they converted.
So anyone can. It's a covenant between a nation, an actual ethnic group, and God. But we accept others who want to join us sincerely if they're willing to follow the rules.
Like Yahweh on the mount when he checked them.
So it's a bit of both.
So Judaism is a religion just like
Stay up one night.
Christianity and Islam is a religion. I wouldn't have said that. In 640 AD is when they converted to Judaism and made that a belief system. That's why even he said you can convert to Judaism. Biblically, you are an Israelite if your daddy or if you come from the seed of Israel. There's no such thing as a spiritual Israelite or converting or anything.
What about Ruth?
Ruth was an Israelite that lived in the plains of Moab. That's what Ruth
really?
was. Yes.
But
Yes,
why does it say she was a Moabite?
Just like it said Elijah was a Tishbite, even though Elijah was a Levite. Elijah was an Israelite from the tribe of Levi, but they called him a Tishbite because that's the land that he lived in. No different than Uriah. No different than Uriah the Hittite. No different than when you go in the book of Acts with Paul.
Uriah was an actual Hittite. Though.
No, he was not. Just like when you go into the book of Acts with Paul was a Roman, but he also was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. You can live in another land and be called by that city. We do it today. They call them New Yorkians. They call them Chicagoan. They call them all of them. They call them by the land that they're living in. That girl, that actress.
Ruth is pretty clear.
That actress.
That she was a Moabite
woman
from Moab and not Jew. I
what's
think
the
that
actress that played
you're
with?
reading as a tortured reading.
No,
Moab.
I'm not.
It's pretty obvious that she's from Moab. Nobody wanted to
clear
accept her for that reason.
example.
She faced discrimination.
I got you.
You know,
Why
did she face discrimination? Because she was a Moabite.
She didn't face discrimination. That's not what it was about. What she
They
faced
didn't
was
wanna lose
Boaz.
their- yeah.
Boaz wanted to marry her, doing the law of a brother. The fact that Charlize Theron is called a South African, even though she's a white woman. So living in the land that you're in does not make you the people of that land. Chinese people in Africa are still Chinese. Chinese people in America are still Chinese. You don't call them, even if you call them American, they still Chinese. So Ruth was an Israelite.
So
You're right.
in Israel is still
Was
a Moabite.
Elijah an Israelite?
Of course he was an Israelite.
Show me the verse that says he's an Israelite.
What do you mean? Show me the verse.
Show me the verse that says he's an Israelite. Show me the verse.
Elijah was one of the prophets.
Show me the verse that says he's an Israelite.
Okay, listen. Your level of biblical
so
knowledge
correct
is
me.
really, really.
So show me the verse.
I don't need to. Show me the verse that Moses.
Now here's why I say that. Here's why I say that. When you read the verses, I know Elijah was an Israelite, just so everybody can understand. But every time it mentions Elijah,
but you don't know that you're not an Israelite.
Every time it mentions Elijah, it says Elijah the Tishbite. 1 Kings 17:1. Why is it even calling him a Tishbite if he's an Israelite? Because you could be called by the land that you come from. You can be called a Bethlehemite. David was called a Bethlehemite. So being called by the land that you're from don't mean you're of that land. It just means that Caleb was called a Kenzanite, even though he was an Israelite. But when you go up Caleb, it says Caleb the Kenzanite. But he was an Israelite. Rode with Joshua, spied out the enemies.
These are all Jewish cities. These are all Jewish cities, though.
Kenzanite is not a Jewish city. Stop. So now they was coming out of Egypt.
Caleb literally conquered it. That's why he was given that name.
He was called the Kenzan. Bro, I was about to call your brother. About to make a mistake. You do not know what you're talking about at all.
At least I can read it in Hebrew.
I can read it in Hebrew. I just spoke Hebrew. I can read Hebrew. I just won't justify your.
You won't do it because you know how ridiculous you sound.
No, I won't do it for you. I don't have to prove myself to you.
You sound like a clown. That's why you won't do it. Because you know you don't have the confidence. You taught yourself a language.
You know none of that works on me. Like how I'm able to rattle your feathers, you can't touch mine. That's why I can get you out of your comfort zone. You have not gotten me out of mine, and you never will. You can't.
I'm very comfortable.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You couldn't even say comfortable right just now because you're not.
Because English is my fourth language and it's your first.
Doesn't matter what it is. Even if you said it in your language, you stuttered. When I asked you what tribe you're from, you didn't even say that. You didn't even say that shit right. You stammered. We can take the next caller now.
Studio Ikean says, "Shalom, my kosher brother, I'll say from Harlem is really sticking it to the so-called Jew. Mazel tov, Ralph. Beautiful debate." Thank you. I appreciate that. Where the future says Killstream #1. I appreciate that as well. Right about everything. Says Viva la Killstream. He also says Jew debate. It's a little insulting when he's a black imposter Jew. He thinks you're the imposter, so that's an anti-captain.
No, that's fine.
It's not how I thought white boys. It's not how I thought White Boy Summer would start. 37 says Captain. That's true. I didn't really either. Godzilla 37 says, Captain, what are your thoughts on the Dunning-Kruger effect?
I don't know what that is. I would have to be brought me.
I can read the Wikipedia, but basically, stupid people overestimate their ability. I guess would be a way that they.
You wouldn't know the Dunning-Kruger effect. It would take a lot of self-knowledge to understand the Dunning-Kruger effect for you.
All right, now Critical Thinking says, Judas, I enjoy your showing on the kill stream. However, you have to understand what blood sports is. You don't get to interrupt every 2 seconds, then demand the floor for yourself. Hope to see more from you, he said. Oh, he sounds disappointed. K-Max McDonald says, for both, what is your view on Jesus Christ? Is it the traditional view that he was just a prophet and not the Messiah? What is your view of the Islamic prophet Muhammad? Now, we talked about a little bit about Jesus, so you can weigh in a little bit more on that too if you want. But Prophet Muhammad.
What was the question?
What is your view on Jesus Christ? Is it the traditional view he was just a prophet and not the Messiah?
Oh, I'll make it simple just for time's sake, because I think we kind of hammered the whole
Yeah.
Messiah
Yeah,
thing.
we
We just believe he's the Messiah. He's the king. That'll make it simple.
Okay. Judas, you talked about it a little bit too. But
Yeah, I don't have anything to add about Jesus. You asked about Muhammad.
Muhammad,
Look,
What do I think
don't
of?
think-
He asked, "What do we think about Muhammad?"
yeah, he asked Muhammad too.
Oh, Muhammad's a imposter. The Quran is toilet water. If you want to get you a good fire started, you took that Quran, that fire will burn better than anything on the planet.
what? Go ahead, Judas.
All right. So even though we have a conflict with Muslims at the moment, I have respect for the Islamic civilization, and I do not hate the Quran. I don't think it's divine. I don't follow it, but I don't think it's impossible for God to reveal himself to different civilizations and different languages and in different ways. The fact that Muslims are monotheists,
when the Old Testament says God is only for Israel, there is no other God.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I'm just surprised you said that.
Yeah, so surprises. I think that it's okay for different
Does God think
civilizations
that?
Can I finish my statement?
Oh, don't be so touchy now, man. Come on.
I think that it's possible.
He interrupted
all night.
I think it's possible for there to be multiple revelations, and I think that the Quran. I don't think it's a revelation. I don't know. I don't judge them, but I don't have any hatred for the Quran or for Muslims for being Muslims. I respect the fact that they're true monotheists, and I'm fine with them as long as they don't attack me. If they attack me, they'll lose. But as long as they don't attack me, I have no beef with them. That's the truth.
Meanwhile, he's reporting live from a bunker.
There were a couple of Infinite Slick contributions earlier. I'll read those after because they're not really related to this. But thank you, Infinite Slick. I'll shout that out. I see CGI Seagull said, "Thanks everybody for amazing show." Question for Judas and the captain: do you have any theories about the present day location of the Ark of the Covenant, or was it destroyed?
You want to take that first? I know you're so skilled at the Bible.
Regarding the Ark of the Covenant, no comment.
All right. What about you,
when you go in the book of Maccabees, I'm just trying to get ain't the first chapter,
First chapter, yeah.
Not first chapter. Is it first chapter?
It's first Maccabees, and I think the 5th or the 6th chapter.
It's in there, and you go in the book of Maccabees in the 5th to 6th chapter. Jeremiah. I'm about to say Jeremiah. It's in is it in Mount Zion?
Mount Moab.
Mount Moab. When you go to the book of the Maccabees, you'll get that in there. That's where it's at. Well, that's where it's last recorded at.
K. Max McDonald says, "Does Captain Tazaryach believe Israel is his holy land, and then who does it belong to?"
Yeah, I do. That's why I went there and visited it.
Israel. Now you dropped that casually into the conversation.
Oh yeah, I did. It was actually great. I was out there for I took off for like 14 days because you got to get adjusted to the time zone because it's so pushed back. The flight is long as hell. So I was out there total of about 8 days. Visited everywhere. I plan on going back. But yes, that does belong to us.
Now, will you hang out with Judas and have lunch? And
You're invited. You're invited.
Probably.
I'll have you over.
He might kidnap me. Y'all might not hear from me again.
I'm gonna use your blood.
Listen, that's what you like. Listen, you are bringing out the spirit because y'all eat and drink blood. That's what y'all do.
Oh my God! All right, now
he looks like he sells organs.
Yeah, he look like he put some blood in that tea
like
drinking
on the
right
black
there.
market.
Green Danger says
he got a liver in his freezer right now.
Green Danger says ends in the chat. Let's go. Jeff TV says great content, very entertaining. Thank you for that.
I got about maybe 10 more minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna rush through the callers real quick.
Then we're gonna rest this up.
We can see. Oh man, you know what? Lightning round. Go ahead, Dingo.
Dingo.
Remember this guy?
Oh yeah,
Dingo.
Dingo,
sir.
Where you at, Dingo? Come on, Dingo.
Come on, man.
I think Dingo. I nicknamed him too, right? Didn't we call him Dingbat?
Dingbat.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. We had a with you and Dingo.
Hey, so you should feel good, Syrian girl, because I nicknamed everybody on here.
Now he just dropped out. I'll try him again. Dingo, can you hear me? We'll rotate him. You know what, Dingo? If you can't hear me, I'll try you again here towards the end.
Dingbat. It might be hard for him to work that.
Juan Carmel, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Lightning round, go ahead.
Lightning round. So, hey, I wanted to mention something here. So I'm planning on taking a trip to Tibet sometime in the near future. And I know Sudan's in Bhutan, but did you know they do sky burials in Tibet? They're fucking fantastic.
Is that true? I hope you die when you jump out of the plane there. That'd be cool.
Wow.
Sudan, go ahead. Lightning round.
That was savage.
Mm-hmm.
Sudan, you there? Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, man, the college are completely dropping the ball. Even the trolls suck. Holy shit. Hank Scorpio, go ahead. Hank Scorpio, are you there, sir? Wow, the callers. Holy shit. Wow, they're shining glory. Chris Stubbs, go ahead. You're on the kill stream. Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, I just want to say real quick, this debate just seems so pointless and misses the mark entirely. It's actually hysterical watching two supremacists argue over who has the right to be a supremacist. I mean, God, this itself must be proof of God to have such divine comedy.
Hey, what's your nationality, if you don't mind me asking?
I just want to say to Captain that it's ironic to pursue a religion of supremacy like Judaism, especially after being a race that was subjected to slavery, which supremacist Jewish-owned slave ships were the conduit which allowed black ancestors.
Hey, what's your nationality, if you don't mind me asking?
Which is what you guys cry about the most over here. And then to both you guys, I just want to say that you have the same exact persecution complex that Jews cry about being persecuted in the Holocaust, but persecute Palestinians today. And now black people cry about supremacy in the West while wanting to transition to Judaism to persecute everybody who isn't a Jew. And that's about all I have to say. And thanks a lot. Great show.
Chris Stubbs, thank you. Go ahead, Captain, if you want to
respond. No, I only wanted to respond if he was going to stay on.
He just sounded like he was just getting it.
I saw him tweet that. Yeah, all I'll say is that I'm not a supremacist. I don't think I'm better than anyone.
Yeah, there's no way for a black man to be a supremacist. There's only one supremacist, and that's the suppressor that exists.
Serpentarius, go ahead, lightning round.
Thank you for having me back on, Ralph. You guys are missing the most important aspect of this entire debate, and that is your genetic origin. And you have a book in your hand called...
We mentioned it. The captain said he doesn't believe in genetics.
Michael Bradley. Willis Carto, Michael Bradley, and Stan Gooch all did heavy research into the Jewish Neanderthal link. Two of them were Jewish themselves.
Yeah, the book that I don't know.
Up to 15
Can you hear?
Neanderthal DNA.
Wait. Hold on, stop. Serpentarius, hold on. What were you saying, Captain?
The books, I've been reading Milton Bradley's books tonight, if you was listening. Like
Michael Bradley, but you didn't bring up the genetic link to Neanderthal. And one of the greatest tricks these people have played on us is that they call Europeans Caucasians. You call Europeans Caucasians. Europeans have up to 4% Neanderthal DNA. These people have up to 15. You look at their stature, their behavior.
So now, but the DNA portion,
nose, larger skull, so they have a higher IQ than us.
Higher IQ than you.
But we are different peoples. No offense to you. I mean, this is facts, but you have a lot of Homo erectus DNA. You have no Neanderthal DNA because you are of African descent. And this Esau versus Jacob thing is taught to Jews as a religious thing, but in reality, it is a interspecies. The Cro-Magnon wiped out the Neanderthal with the domestication of wolves and dogs and absolutely decimated most of them. And
Ralph, what is he talking
essentially
about?
Ultimate revenge upon the Cro-Magnon for what they've done, the persecution of Jews in Europe.
All right.
And what we see, okay. I just want to end on one last thing. Is that okay, Ralph?
Very quickly. This is not lightning call. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Gave a whole diatribe.
Immigration into Western countries and the transgender LGBTQ agenda is meant to blot out the white population from the earth. It is eternal revenge for what the Cro-Magnon did to the Neanderthal. Thanks, Ralph. Have a good night, boys.
Thank you, sir. All right, I haven't heard that one before. Dingo, can you hear yet?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go.
Shabbat shalom, my niggas. What's up?
All right.
Dingbat, man, you ain't miss a beat, man. You ain't miss a beat, Dingbat. You ain't miss a beat.
Captain?
Ain't shit, man. What you gonna ask us today?
Don't worry, big guy. Listen, my question today is for that fake ass Jew over there, the one pretending, like the one sitting there with tape and Velcro, his yarmulke on his head. It doesn't fit like it does on y'all's. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are the real Jews. But Mr. What's his name? No, Judas. I was not trying to be rude. I was wondering. I was looking at the NGO list for people for non-governmental organizations that help, if you will, migrants get from Northern Africa and other places in the Middle East to Europe. And every single one of them, out of 26, they're all run by people literally from Israel. Israel Aid is one. I mean, in America, you've got Doctors Without Borders. They're Jews. What is the big deal with y'all's strict border restrictions? And then also y'all come into Europe and be like, hey, criminals, rapists, please come to these white countries. Why is every one of them from Israel?
Okay, so I can respond to that. A couple of things. First of all, I didn't go through the list that you mentioned, but they're
I got it right there.
All right, you can post it to the group, but I don't think they're all Jews, because there's plenty of non-Jews that also promote open borders. Now, the Jews that promote open borders for Europe, okay, they also push Israel to tear down its wall and to allow African migrants as well. Here in Israel, we have leftists, just like in America, you have leftists, and you have nationalists and you have globalists. These two forces are affecting all of us. All right, not just you guys. When I was in America, I voted for Trump because I was not happy with open borders. When I'm in Israel, I vote for right-wing parties here as well. So I don't feel particularly guilty that people who share some genes with me are doing bad things. Just like I don't think that the captain needs to feel guilty that people that share his genes commit 52% of the crime. It's not his fault. He's not the one committing crime. So I'm not the one calling for open borders. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to apologize. I fight against it because I want my country to be safe and I want America to be safe. And I believe in some version of ethno-nationalism because I'm an Israeli Zionist. So the disrespectful tone of your call and the way you're approaching this as if I am part of some cabal that has an interest in opening your borders is wrong. In fact, I'll tell you even more. Our Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, is right-wing. He's been Prime Minister for 2 decades, right? He's friendly and aligned with all of the right-wing closed border politicians in Europe, as well as with Trump, less so with Obama and Biden and other open borders. So it's a little more complex than you make it out to be. Now, it's not an illegitimate argument to be open borders. I'm against it, but it's something that many Jews and non-Jews believe in because the globalist movement today is something that's gained a lot of traction. And I, like you, hope that the globalist movement gets squashed. That's my answer to you.
Well, all right. Well, that's cool. I guess as far as the disrespectful tone of my question, listen, you've been disrespectful to my friend Captain Tazaryach here all night, so I don't feel guilty at all about being rude to you a little bit. But as far as the organizations being non-Jews, that's not correct. I mean, I'm looking at all of them right here, and most of them have the name Israel in them. And so my question to you, I guess, then would be, if the left-wing Jews in Israel that are trying to get your border taken down, like if they're so effective at doing it in America and Europe, why do they have zero luck in Israel? Is it just because you guys are?
Well, first of all, I'll explain to you. Israel's population is mostly Sephardic Jews, like myself, from Arabic countries. We tend to be more to the right. Even in America, Sephardic Jews, overwhelmingly 90% vote Republican. Right? They probably see the world similar to the way you do, just not as anti-Semitic as you seem to be. Now, similarly, in Israel, the Ashkenazi European Jews who tend to lean more to the left, more globalist, not always, but more, they have less power in Israel because they're a minority. And therefore, in Israel's right wing, and even though we have parties that are constantly trying to open our borders, constantly trying to make us like Europe. They see New York City, they see Paris, they see London as a model of what they want Israel to be like. And with limited success, maybe Tel Aviv is a little bit like that, but most of Israel isn't. And Israel's a democracy. People vote. And those guys just don't get enough votes. They have money. They have NGOs here. They invest hundreds of millions, if not billions, trying to get in power. There's ads all over the street of how terrible Netanyahu is, Bibi, and how great it is to be leftist. But we don't want to be leftists here. Now, the Jews in America also, don't forget, like what you call like the more base Jews. Jews that come to Israel tend to be more based, more Zionist, more nationalist. Jews that are more globalist tend to live outside of Israel. So it makes sense that you're still going to have right-wing Jews in America, but in more of a minority. Because living in America itself is a statement of saying, look, we're part of the greater world. Judaism is not so important as an ethnicity. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
As everybody knows, that white people are the real tribe of Israel. So as an actual Jew, now I'm just playing about that. But let me tell you what I see from my perspective. So from my perspective, I see the World Jewish Congress. That's where Jews who are members of parliaments and governments and countries all around the world, they meet up, once or twice a year in Israel to talk about how they could sway their host nation to vote on different pieces of legislation to benefit your country, right? So I know that that's a thing. I know that these other little groups are a thing, like the Bilderberg group. Most of these people are Jews also. So like what I see your little hive is a central operating location, right? As Israel, okay? And you send out your little drones to do one thing in everybody else's nation, like, flood it with outsiders. Yet in your home nation, you let nobody that's not what you call a Jew, which you support with genetic tests, come in. So I see it as like you have one policy at home and you send your agents out to fulfill other policies outside of your little hive there. I mean, is that an inaccurate description? Could you see why I might see it that way?
I could definitely see why you see it that way, but there are parts of it that are inaccurate. Okay, the part that's inaccurate is that you view us Jews, Israelis, as a hive mind that we all agree, and we don't. We have enormous conflict among us. When the leftists in Israel do manage to win elections, what do? They open the border. They put LGBT stuff everywhere, trans in the military, just like in America. And then when they get kicked out, then the right wing takes over and rolls that back. But it's a constant conflict.
Oh, he cut mid sentence. Hold on, I think he's coming.
The Mossad got him.
Oh man, they got him. I can hear him coming back in though. I think. Hold on. There, you're back. He's back.
So, okay. So regarding us controlling other countries, look, here's the part that I'll agree with you. Okay, there are all countries in the world. Nobody is completely isolationist. Every country tries to exert influence. The United States openly tries to exert influence on Israel. When Obama was president, he literally campaigned for the left-wing Labor Party in Israel to win against Bibi, and Bibi Netanyahu won anyway. So it's a mutual thing. Countries and leaders and politicians try to affect other countries, sometimes openly and sometimes subliminally. Israel is no different in the sense that we do try to affect other countries for our own benefit. I'm not going to deny that. Am I proud of it? Do I think it's a good idea? It's irrelevant. Everybody plays this game. We appear to be better at it or more effective at it, and I don't think we are, but we appear to be more effective at it because we have an enormous diaspora. Since we were exiled from Judea, right, there's Jews all over the world, and they have some sort of connection to Israel, so we can reach out to them. They form voting blocks, and we try to exert power, just like blacks in America try to exert power and vote for as a bloc for their own ethnic interests, and whites, I don't think they should do, but they should be voting for their own ethnic interests. So Jews to some extent do that, but then don't forget those same Jews, my friend, in America, for example, most Jews in America are pushing Israel to have open borders and to give the Palestinians land and to give up the states. So the fact that Jews all over the world are connected to Israel, that's not always a good thing.
All right, Dingo, go ahead real quick. Last
I'm about to wrap it.
Yeah, because I gotta move it on.
No doubt, I'll make this short.
Thank you, Dingo.
Mr. Judas, there, you were wrong about the black and their crime rates, sir. I would appreciate if you didn't lie like that. They commit 52% of the murders. It's overall violent crime. It's like 70-something%. So please don't undersell it. Pork chop. Don't let the diabetes get you, you son of a bitch. Bye.
All right, bye-bye, Dingo. Yeah, I don't think I'll try one more caller.
No, actually, it's about 12 o'clock.
You gotta go. Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
I'm trying to force another one in there.
Yeah, I know
well,
you
I might bring on after you guys leave.
Yeah, no problem.
Captain, it was a pleasure meeting you, man.
No, it was a good show.
I always avoided you guys on the street because I was busy with kids,
why.
but today we had a conversation.
I see why you avoided us on the street.
I'm too busy, man. Who has time for gay people in satin robes waving swords around?
The only gay people are you guys. That's why y'all suck your son's penis on the 8th day.
All right.
That's why y'all do that.
Less people do that than, 1 out of 5.
Y'all do that. That's why your rabbis
are sexually molested
that's
by
why
their
your
family.
rabbis.
Less than 1 out
That's
of
why
4
your rabbis
Jews
give
have
little
that.
boys herpes. That's why they do that. Because they sucking their penis. They shouldn't be doing that. That's why all of y'all look feminine as it is.
The percentage of Jews that do that are lower than the percentage of Africans.
It shouldn't be none. Your rabbi is supposed to be holy. They shouldn't be giving little boys herpes. You know what type of sexual deviancy?
It's a very small minority.
It's not a small minority. You shouldn't be sucking a little boy's penis in the first place. Well, Moses didn't do that. Moses didn't do that. Moses had a woman do it. Moses didn't even do it. Yeah. Moses had his wife do it.
Okay, that was that's something.
Yeah, that's how it's done. But gay men. So move out the way. I got it.
People that
just show me the penis. I'll put it in my mouth. That's gay men do that. That's what y'all do. I'm sorry. With that, hey Ralph, man, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It was a great show.
I'm glad we could end on friendship and brotherhood here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Captain. I appreciate it.
No sweat, man. Anytime. Listen, I love the way you line them up, Ralph. I love it.
Hey, we'll hear from you again.
All right, no sweat, man. Y'all take it easy.
Thank you, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
Judas, we'll hear from you.
Hey, man, I'd like to thank... Is the mic still on? We still online? I'd like to thank y'all for coming out, man. These videos will be on the Patreon. I appreciate y'all joining me, man. We try to give y'all these little bonuses every now and again. What you think, Tazaryach?
Not bad.
Not bad at all. So we see y'all Thursday, man. Make sure y'all tune in. Shalom.